The tournaments on 45 TV are brought to you by University of Wisconsin-Superior. Find your superior.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I've been playing football since the 2nd grade, and just to know this is my last game. I mean, I'm happy it's a state championship, but, you know, just happy to be here.
This year especially, it's just more special with it being my senior year, and like the amount of seniors we have on this team. We've all played together for quite some time now, so I mean, just the relationships that we've all built through the years, it just means that much more.
We're going to see Elk River take on Mankato West for the 5A title tomorrow afternoon. That's the last game of the entire 7-game Prep Bowl run. Looking forward to that one. Chris Long back here with you on 45 TV, along with Gabe Henderson. Gabe, Dario, the first guy we heard there.
Yeah.
You heard, he didn't say it, but you felt like he said, man, I'm glad it's a Prep Bowl, but at the end of this game, my high school football career is over. That's what makes this day, or these days, so important for these guys.
Absolutely, and understanding that, it makes you want to play a little bit harder. You don't know what the future holds outside of this last game, so a lot of these guys are going to put everything they have into this game, which ultimately makes it a great atmosphere and a great game and a great entertaining moment for everyone involved.
Let's talk about this AA championship game. Barnesville and Chatfield familiar with each other. It's a rematch of last year's game that Chatfield won. As for Barnesville, the hardest working people on the field might be our camera guys. Trying to follow the ball with this power T offense is not easy. 6 different players with 300 rushing yards at least this year. They're going to come at Chatfield from every angle offense.
Oh, absolutely. And it's one of those things where you have to be disciplined on defense. And Chatfield said they haven't played, well, Barnesville have not played a team that has run the wing T since last year. So you really have to be disciplined. You really have to understand who has the ball, know your keys, and hopefully get out of there with, a time of possession in your favor.
Barnesville's D pretty special as well. Let's talk Chatfield, the guy to talk about, Sam Backer. He's a Mr. Football finalist. This is a special athlete. 7,197 career rushing yards. He's 306 yards away from Tyler Evans' 20-year-old state record for career rushing. Who knows, if he has a big day, he could go after that. I did the math on this one, Gabe. 4.1 miles he's rushed for in the course of his career. He did not play in the Prep Bowl last year. The team still won that title without him, but they've got him back as they try to defend.
Yeah, I know you don't want to frame it this way, but it is the Sam Backer show versus Barnesville. And now Barnesville is ready for this game. You look at, the points they've allowed this year. They've only allowed 50 points, and they have an average margin of victory, 31 points average margin of victory. So if they can stop Sam Backer, I can see this game, favoring them. But if they don't, Sam Backer's going to do what he's done the last 3 years and have another big day.
So again, keep your eye on Sam Backer when Chatfield has the ball, but when Barnesville has the ball, good luck keeping your eye on the ball. They're going to come at it from every different angle. Let's send it upstairs. The guys that will call this game for us, the AA championship game, Jim Erickson and Travis Walsh.
Well, Chris, thanks for making me nervous here watching this Barnesville Power T, although I have some experience. I've seen Elk River in this game before with that Power T versus Chatfield. We've kind of broken it down here, Travis. What do you think is going to happen from your perspective in this game here today in this AA championship?
This will be the first of 3 teams that we're going to be talking about this T, and it's getting a little bit bigger each year. Coach Johnson mentioned it in his presser 2 weeks ago. We don't have the benefit this year of seeing Cannon Falls, who's a T team.
Chatfield.
It's going to be a major adjustment. He goes, this isn't Chatfield's defense this year. This is a T defense in which we make some wrinkles happen to make it feel like home. The other side of this, just kind of a redemption tour on both sides. You've got Sam Backer saying, hey, I get a shot now to play in the state championship game after accomplishing everything else he and his team have. But on the other end of it, to a player and to a coach, if you ask Barnesville, do you want to get back to the state title? Yes. Who do you want to play in that state title? Chatfield.
Yes, rematch of last year's semifinal won by Chatfield. They would go on to win the championship last year. They come in ranked number 1, Barnesville number 3 after the regular season. A lot different than our Class A matchup where one team was unranked, another one was down towards the bottom of the top 10. Here we have teams that a lot of people thought would get here.
And hard fought across the board. Barnesville said, hey, we had to beat a really good DL team that kind of made our season, who's a 4A team. And bring up Caledonia. Chatfield had to beat them twice this year, both by basically single-score games to win. They've earned their paths.
And I used and borrowed Chris Long's mileage to yardage or yardage to mileage calculator. And these 2 teams, when you combine their yardage together, over 9,000 yards. That's over 5 miles of offense.
Well, I'll tell you, Barnesville this year, and I know it's going to probably come later, they've rushed for 3,000 more yards than their opponent. I mean, think about that in a season. Teams don't even rush for 3,000. They've outgained their opponents by 3,000 yards.
It's really something to behold. Certainly this Chatfield team, they're in their 10th state tournament appearance, their 6th prep bowl. They are 5 for 5 in prep bowl appearances. 5 prep bowl appearances, 5 championships as a program. Meanwhile, for Barnesville, they have been here before. It just wasn't the power T and the use of that offense and bringing it to their program that all of a sudden has sprung them onto the big stage. They've been here 8 other times. This is their 9th appearance, their 3rd prep bowl, but still looking for their first title after 3 runners-up going all the way back to 1978 in Class B, Travis.
I had my own personal experience with Chatfield. Tough community, led by Ken Jacobson years ago. Made a three-time back-to-back, or 3-time champions in the 90s. And these teams are a lot like them.
Isaac Manival is the kicker, and Chatfield will get the ball first. Out across the 20 to about the 23-yard line. Fans making noise. Chatfield, the maroon and white, and purple and white uniforms here today for Barnesville. Let's talk about this Chatfield offense. What are we going to see from them, Travis?
What really makes them threatening is a lot of times you got Sam Backer in the backfield and you've got 4 or 5 people spread out. So you have to defend the formation, which looks like pass, but you've got Backer basically getting +1 football, quarterback run football, and they have a lot of different ways to move him around the run game.
Yeah, these teams combined for over 9,000 offensive yards. There is Sam Backer. They threw on their second play of the game. That was Barnesville in their semifinal, and Backer will not run. That'll be Schott. And Kalen Schott is an interesting story. You can see that neck protector that he has on. That is because a severe accident back in April. They didn't think he'd be back for football season, but he is a triumphant story, and he carries it on first down.
On top of it, another football injury halfway through the season where they missed him for a little bit. To me, he is a big part of Sam's success. On top of their O-line, he is the one that creates the extra gaps in their run game once Sam takes the ball.
Sam Backer probably 1 run away from going over 7,200, and he does right there. He dives across the 25 to the 26 on the season. 2,602 yards, 33 touchdowns, a 12.2 per crack average on the season for number 21.
Watch the end. So here you got 60, and on the other side you're going to have number 24, Drew O'Connor. These are the 2 guys that will end up getting back to the edge. And if he can't get the edge, then he sticks it up inside with Schott leading him.
Backer has passed for 466 yards on the season as well. 3rd down and 7, Chatfield. Rolling to the near side. Here is a throwaway, and it's caught. Oh, it's incomplete. Drew Schindler just off his fingertips almost made that spectacular catch here for the Chatfield Gophers.
And just because Sam Backer has run for a lot of yards, I've seen him in more than one game. It doesn't mean he can't throw. It just means they've done a really good job running with him.
Oh, and Drew had it too, and then once he crashed to the turf, just could not maintain possession.
And now for so many of these teams that have won big throughout the years, I heard coaches say it in multiple games. Hey, we punted more times in this one game than we punted in 5 games this year. So I think special teams is going to play big into this.
Punter for Chatfield is Jacob Erickson. He does the kicking, he was the starting quarterback to start last season for Chatfield. And Barnesville will take it, and they will, much like Minnesota in our first game, they're going to get good starting field position on their opening possession.
Yeah, getting back, I know we need to revisit the Jacob Erickson story. It's really unique on how that ecosystem has worked between 3 really good quarterbacks in Chatfield.
So here comes Barnesville. Power T. We'll see it with Elk River this weekend. Then tonight, Rosemont against Maple Grove in the 6A championship. Quarterback Zachary Bredman under center. 3 backs behind him. And it's right up the middle, and ready for it is the Chatfield defense on the handoff to Andrew Peterson.
As we talked about, the cameras are going to have a hard time staying with this. This one was a little easier, but look at the tremendous job the quarterback does of tucking, faking, and taking guys with him. it really takes you back to the triple option offenses and having to basically defend 3 different people on every play.
Number 55, Blake Thompson, getting across for the Gophers. He read it pretty well. 2nd and 10. Right up the gut. And a quick tackle. That was Roller. Roller's their top rusher. 50 yards shy of 1,000, but they really do spread it out.
You know, a lot like what we said about Springfield in a different manner. You have a lot of different weapons. And I hear coaches say all the time, you know, I wish we had athletes like that and that many running backs and receivers. I think most do, not all. But how do you use them? And how do we use their skill sets? Barnesville does it with 5 different runners.
Kalen Schott made the tackle, prevented a first down and maybe an even bigger gain. 3rd and 4 for the Trojans, looking for their first championship. 3 runners up in their history from northwestern Minnesota. And the keep by the quarterback this time. And again, Zach Bredman, he will run. And it's a couple of yards there, but he's going to be shy of the first down. It'll be 4th down here for Zachary Bredman and the Trojans offense.
Drew O'Connor is the guy that I referenced on offense that does so much in this run game to get people to the edge. He's also a phenomenal inside linebacker, edge guy, outside linebacker, depending on what defense they're playing. And certainly a guy that's going to be playing at the next level somewhere.
So near midfield from the 50. Here comes the punter, Isaac Manival. 33.9% average on the season. That's going to be a punt that bounced in front of the return man, taken at the 12, 20, far side to about the 25-yard line. That's where Chatfield will have it on the backer return. When we come back, no score.
The tournaments on 45 TV are brought to you by the Coalition for a Secure Energy Future, supporting affordable and reliable energy. Learn more at secureenergyfuture.org.
First ever Prep Bowl, Saturday, November 20th, 1982. That's the next day's Minneapolis Tribune. Before it was the Star Tribune, even. That's how far back we go in the 40th Prep Bowl. Also the 50th year of the state high school football playoff system. That's significant as well. Chatfield, second possession here is Backer. Makes a cut across the 30 to the 35-yard line. This Trojan defense only gives up on average 4 points per game. They've only given up 48 points all season long, Travis. And they are tough.
I think 6 shutouts on top of it. It's just phenomenal. One of my notes that I had on here is Chatfield has not been a strong starting team. And certainly we saw that last year in the semifinal against Barnesville. I think it's going to be really important to get out and get a lead. Now, one thing Chatfield has been good at all year, they have gotten better throughout the whole game and gotten stronger.
Backer to Schott. Dives across the 35-yard line on first down. That'll bring up 2nd down and long. This Chatfield team coming in having won 25 straight wins. They lost the first game last year and then made the run to the championship. And for them, that was their big championship that gave them their 5th championship. And then, of course, they're 12-0 this year, so that's 25 in a row. They're on a run.
I'm a Plainview Elgin Millville alum, so anytime we can hype a win over Chatfield, which was last year.
That was game 1 of the season, week 1.
A team that ended up in the state championship in 3A.
Yeah, and lost to Dassel Cokato, if my memory serves me right. Backer trying to get around to the corner, and he just has absolutely no room with the penetration by number 40, Connor Lokes for Barnesville.
I don't know if this was a stunt. Yeah, he's coming right away. It's one thing to come free through the hole. It's another thing to be able to finish on a running back like or a quarterback like Sam Backer.
He's a senior linebacker, Connor Lokes. You see him right there. He was just unaccounted for.
Give credit to the coach. He got one of his best players free and into the backfield.
3rd and long. 3rd and 14 after that sack. Backer looks to throw. Now he'll tuck it and run. Breaks one tackle. Shrugs off a defender. He's out across the 40. And he needed to get across the 45 for the first down. He'll be shy of a couple.
So I could see them hard counting here just to see if they can get something. See if you can get them to jump off sides. Find out what they're going to be in a short yardage front. But I don't think they're going to go for it.
4th down and short. 4th and 2. And that's exactly what it looks like they're going to be doing here.
But it's valuable information gained, right? I get to see exactly who they want to be. Sam's going to step back here, punt the ball. And the beauty of this is you have no one back, so we can just watch this ball run the other way when it's punted well.
All the way inside the 10. So you got Jacob Erickson who can punt, and you have Sam Backer who can punt for Chatfield. Still nothing on the board yet here on 45 TV. First quarter here, U.S. Bank Stadium. Sixth prep bowl to be played here in this beautiful building, home of the Vikings in downtown Minneapolis. And it's because of the Vikings game on Thanksgiving night. They were playing the first ever prep bowl in December. So Barnesville out of the power tee. And their quarterback, Bredman. Braden Bredman is one of the running backs, and they come to the right side. It is Zach. Zach gets to the corner, 20, 25, turns the corner, and he gets forced out of bounds outside the 30 to the 33-yard line.
Big plays are going to happen early. There's still a little bit of a feeling out process. It looks to me right there like the inside linebacker got sealed. You're going to want to rip across that, force it back inside. You can see number 4, shot coming up. Try to get across that. Looks like we might have got away with a little bit of a hold there. I think really the strength of Chatfield's defense has been their secondary, and it allows a lot of freedoms for their front. And it's going to have to be today.
First down 10. This one right up the gut again. And it's the fullback, John Roller, into the secondary inside the 30 to the Chatfield 25-yard line. Just a big gaping hole right up the middle, and Roller able to exploit it.
That is one of the oldest plays in football, and it becomes really, really hard when 2 other guys could possibly have the ball. Old guard trap. Love that the ball's in the off arm. And hey, big time tackle by 10 to finish that thing off. It can't be assumed that that tackle is going to be made.
First and 10 inside the 25 for Barnesville. Again, the quick pitch. Again, it's Roller. They're working Roller. They had Braden Bredman in motion there, and a short pickup, if any, there. Closed captioning is brought to you by Education Minnesota, the voice for professionals, educators, and students. When you run this power tee, Travis, what are the keys to make it successful?
Well, little things like carrying out fakes, right? I don't have the ball. How else can I take someone with me that takes away a guy in pursuit at the very core?
Bredman, Roller in the backfield along with Peterson. Some movement along the defensive line. It's going to go to the other back, and that's that trap play. And diving his way, almost breaking for a touchdown, Ethan Larson, 190-pound fullback. It's his first touch of the game. He's in there for the starter, number 30, Andrew Peterson. Got a nice pickup.
Again, we're seeing a lot of tackles having to be made right now by the secondary. And I'm sure what Chatfield's saying is, hey, we'll clean it up, we'll get it tighter. You need to make these touchdown-saving tackles now and just make them earn it.
Eli Hopp made that touchdown-saving tackle. It is first and goal just inside the 10 for Barnesville, trying to strike first. Here's another one of their backs. And down inside the 5 to about the 2-yard line. Andrew Peterson, you mentioned he was the starter, interchanging in there with the last back that carried the ball. And again, good hole.
This is a little bit more of the power look. You're going to see the double kick out, the guard pulling underneath, the extra back handling the edge. And if this is all they're doing, it's not a extremely tough run play to stop.
Eli Hopp has been a busy man. The cornerback who has 3 interceptions on the season for Chatfield. Barnesville on the doorstep here, second and goal. We're scoreless for maybe not too much longer. Here's the give, and it is into the end zone. Touchdown, Trojans.
And if you watch the last game and watch Minnesota run the same play over and over to the right, this is the same play to the left. You're just seeing it out of a different formation and without emotion.
Dawson Gregg. And he just plows his way in, follows his two backs.
Actually even looked like a little bit of a double ISO look.
Manival, the place kicker here for Barnesville. And he will boom it through. And it's Barnesville and the Trojans on the board first here. 7-zip. Let's take a look at that touchdown one more time. You get to see the three backs and then some of the intricacies here of how that play works.
Just getting off the ball, understanding that the guy I have to block is inside me, and I'm just running my feet and driving through. Seeing twice now, Barnesville linemen getting up to second level, and that is so important to allow that back to get to the third level. And it's not easy to do against a really good linebacker like Mr. Schott.
Let's take a look at the Mr. Football finalists. Congratulations, these 10 finalists. And one of them in this game here, we've mentioned already Sam Backer, quarterback for Chatfield, heading to Minnesota State. Will be a future Maverick.
See 4 guys that will be in the tournament.
Yes,
this is pretty neat.
There is Backer, a 4-year starter. Missed some games during the COVID season. Did not play in last year's Prep Bowl. So he had some other games that he could have made up. Those 306 yards, he's shy of Tyler Evans in McLeod West, who won a state title back in 2001 for McLeod West. Manival to kick off. 7-0 Barnesville. Chatfield on the return from the far side of the field, bringing it to the middle. And it's about the 28 where the Gophers will have it. Luke Carrier on the return. And there is Ethan Larson on the tackle.
Can't say for sure, but noticeably, I think they're trying to keep it away from Sam Backer in that situation.
Aiden Houck made the initial hit there.
Something to start thinking about here is there going to be a Parker Delaney sighting, right? We know how Chatfield has one. Reflecting back on last year's game, the game really shifted when they threw the ball around.
There's kind of a power formation to the left side with 3 players and backs in the backfield, and Backer will take that close to a first down on first down.
And it's certainly not a time to panic by any means, but the point in the Delaney thing is, in talking to Barnesville, they know what they were getting, and they knew what they were getting last year with trying to stop number 21. But it's when Chatfield came out and did something different that they weren't prepared for that really threw them off. And I know Coach Johnson has the package. It's going to be interesting to see at any point if it comes out.
Parker Delaney played in Sam Backer's spot last year. 22-18 was that final. Chatfield over Barnesville in a real barn burner in the semifinals. Backer to pass. Throws it into coverage here. Pretty good coverage there by Barnesville. Intended for Luke Carrier. Incomplete.
I think a nice job here by Barnesville. They were a little bit deeper with their DBs. I don't know if there was something that was showing up that they thought it was going to be run. Maybe it's a second and long tendency. But over the top of everything right there.
Trojans defense has 14 interceptions on the season. Braden Bredman with 2. Owen Riddle with 2. Gannon Bolgreen has 3 in amongst those players in the secondary for Barnesville. Second down and 10. Backer looking for a hole, doesn't find much of one. He wiggles his way to about the 40. It'll bring up third down and long.
And I was off by 1 on that last one. That was a first down call I said on the pass. So certainly not a second and long tendency. Generally in these situations, if they don't feel like they can run, they're going to look to push it upfield to Cole Johnson. He's made some phenomenal catches over 2 and 3 years. High point guy, can go up and get it. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're getting man if you see something like that right now.
Unlike the first game, Class A, Minneota and Springfield are just 66 miles apart. Chatfield and Barnesville 316 miles apart, but they're both on Highway 52, which is kind of cool. Here's a pass the other way. He looked right, pass left, and it's caught across the 50. That's a first down here for Chatfield, and Cole Johnson holds that one in.
And that's who Cole is. I mean, you put it up in there, he's got a phenomenal catch radius. He will go up and finish. Like to see it a little bit more on first down. Like to see it a little bit more on play action downs. He has that ability to change the game.
Cole Johnson is their top receiver, 19 receptions. Make that now 20 on the season here for Chatfield. Shot in motion. Following that way is Backer. 50, 45. He finds a seam. And he almost made it to the corner and turned it up the sideline. He's inside the 40 of Barnesville to the 36.
And I believe it was Owen Riddle coming up and make this play. Just like we talked about on the other side. It looks really easy, right? That's a routine tackle. It is not against that caliber player. And these are the things that often go hit until you watch the film the next day and go, wow, it was that close. Sam's not going to have a ton of looks one-on-one with one guy to beat.
Shot in the backfield goes in motion here for Backer. Hesitates, waits for the hold to develop, and he does get some positive yardage inside the 35.
Really nice play design and highlighting a couple really good linemen pulling on here. Now they use the jet action to pull everyone away and counter back inside. Hadn't seen that a lot. Really neat inside counter/trap play.
Barnesville leading in here 7-0. Final seconds of the first quarter.
How fast did that quarter go?
Really quick.
Can they push the Rosemount Maple Grove back? You know, a 6 o'clock game tonight? You think that works out logistically?
The clock runs out in the first quarter. 1 quarter in. 7-0 Barnesville.
The tournaments on 45 TV are brought to you by Giants Ridge. Unplug, reconnect, and make giant memories up north at Giants Ridge.
Highlights and flashing back to one of Eden Prairie's 11 championships, all in the Prep Bowl era. We're looking back here as it's the 40th Prep Bowl here in 2022. And Eden Prairie had quite a battle against Rosemount in the semifinals. It'll be Rosemount and Maple Grove coming up tonight. We'll see the power tee for Rosemount. Meanwhile, it's Chatfield on the ground for Kalen Schott, who just the fact that he's playing in this game and playing football and sports, it's quite the story. He was on April 1st, I think it was, he was driving to the weight room for weights that day, hit 5 horses that were on the road with his truck and was injured, broke his neck in 2 places, and was cleared by July 1st to go back into action. And just what a story for him to be able to play in this game. Chatfield on the ground, and here comes the Barnesville defense. They lead this game 7-0, and they're charged up on that one.
I think it's go time. You know, it's going to be go for it time here for Chatfield. There's no doubt about it. What you give up, obviously, if you don't punt the ball against this team, 30 yards, 25 yards is a lot of field position. So I know that's in the back of the mind for Coach Johnson. I think if they're up 7-0, he goes for it. I think if they're down right now, he has enough confidence in his team to go for it.
It is 4th down.
You got short splits by receivers, so look for out-breaking routes and shallow routes.
Backer to throw. Can't find anybody. Rolling towards us, throws it to the sideline. Caught. Cole Johnson came back to get it. And the Chatfield offense and sideline saying they got a first down, and they did. What a big play.
That is a big-time finish, and the benefit of Sam being back there, buying just a little bit of extra time. And really alert. Cole was on a fly route that time. He is running to the end zone, gets his eyes back, ball's not in the air. Now I got to work back to my quarterback.
And he did that. Big 4th down conversion. The Chatfield defense was huge on 4th downs on the defensive side in their semifinals. They had 5 4th down stops, including 1 inside the 1-yard line. Here's another pass for Backer, and that one will be incomplete. As again, looks like he's looking for Cole Johnson, and Johnson slow to get up.
2 things there. High red zone, number 1. You're running out of the deep shot, so you want to take 1 more. That was the same exact play that they ran earlier.
Referee, timeout.
And number 2,
Bolgreen was the man on coverage. Injury timeout here at U.S. Bank Stadium. 7-0. Past champions brought to you by Summit Mortgage, guiding your home. Chatfield winning it last year, snapping 5 in a row for Caledonia. Of course, no tournament in 2020. And then that holding court game, I called that game 2014, double overtime win at TCF Bank Stadium against Bowl. That was what we call an instant classic. And we were outdoors before the building here. The U.S. Bank Stadium was complete as we start the second quarter. And the injury here, we're just 2 minutes into the second quarter. It was Cole Johnson, the injured player. He was able to walk off the field under his own power. Got a nice hand from the nice crowd here today.
We mentioned it before the end of the break. You know, obviously your deep shot is taken away because you have less field position. Sheffield's had a lot of success getting to the edge, not as much up the middle. So let's get some type of counter where we fake it to the middle. We work ourselves outside.
This is the deepest that Chatfield has been into Barnesville territory here today. Backer to pass again. Throws it across the middle. That's going to be intercepted. Looked like Larson. It is the linebacker out across the 15 to the 16-yard line. Ethan Larson with the pick. His second of the season, and that'll turn Chatfield back, and Barnesville gets the ball back.
Yeah, not sure if it was a throwback from a guy on the call side coming back across, or it looks like 10 had slowed it down a little bit. Probably the position that Cole Johnson was playing. Really hard to tell by the setup there.
That'll turn it over here to Barnesville. Backer coming in, passing 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. They passed it 9 times in the semis. Backer was 7 of 9 for 55 yards and 2 touchdowns. So if they need to pass and up the number of passes and the percentage of passing plays, they can do that. But Barnesville being opportunistic, getting back there and getting the pick. And on first down, a short pickup for number 20, Braden Bredman. Hey, be sure to get your local news at lunchtime. Watch Leah McLean for Eyewitness News at noon, weekdays on 45 TV. You see the 3 backs, they get their splits. Usually splits, that's a lineman thing, but here in this power T, it's a running back thing as well. Quarterback Bredman to hold it on. Zachary out across the 20 to the 24-yard line. The junior quarterback running this power T, and he may have slipped on that Prep Bowl logo. Fresh paint, maybe.
Really nice design. Hadn't seen this yet. And to your point, that's the benefit you get from carrying out all those fakes when you don't run it. It becomes a little bit of a surprise when you actually have it.
And we talked about what it takes to be successful running the power T. And next opportunity, I'll ask you, what are the keys to slowing it down and stopping it? 7-0 Barnesville. 3rd and 3. Andrew Peterson back there in the right halfback. They go to the fullback. It's right up the gut to the 25, and that's a minimal pickup here. The interior of that Chatfield defense is very, very stout on the carry by John Roller.
Looks like we have a transition. You know, really, you're talking, number one, you have to be ready to play defense that probably isn't your base. It becomes really tough. You know, talking to Coach Schuller at Jackson County Central, he talked about how important it is to have a dominant nose to play against this group. Basically a guy that can two-gap. And I know last year Chatfield had Caden Nolte, who was one of their best players, a big, solid kid. Not to say that these guys aren't doing it or can't doing it. It's just something that helps you in that process.
Manival punting. Backer ready to receive. It'll be end over end. He'll take it on the fly and on the run. He shrugs off 1 tackle, 2 tackles. He's at the 40. He's in the 35. In fact, shy of the 35 to the 36. But a nice return by Backer, and his offense will have good starting field position as they're looking for a way here to break through down here 7-0.
If you've never been a punt returner, I don't think we get enough. We don't give Sam enough credit on this catch.
7-0 Barnesville here on 45 TV. Chatfield ball here as we start a 7-0 game here after the timeout. We're in the second quarter, and this first half has just been buzzing right along here, going quickly. Good field position after the nice punt return by that man, and wide open is shot, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, 36 yards. How about that for Kalen Schott?
So 2 positives on that. 1, Cole Johnson's back in the game. 2, just a beautiful, we saw it earlier, wing coming out of the backfield, pump fake, work up, run the wheel. Actually, no pump fake. Just your classic wheel, out and up, everything you probably did in your backyard for years.
Coming out of the backfield, Kalen Schott, 36 yards, and I have that as his first reception of the season. Not just first touchdown reception, first overall reception here for the Chatfield offense. And here comes Jacob Erickson, ready for the point after. And, it's a fake. Nice little toss here to the near side, and in there for the 2-point conversion. Luke Carrier took the little pitch, and he won the race to the pylon. Little razzle-dazzle gives Chatfield the 1-point lead.
I didn't see it exactly, but it was the flip over the back shoulder.
Yes.
Looks like a Statue of Liberty player. Just
no
beautiful.
look.
Just beautiful. And really, what you don't understand is the important part of that play is you need to make sure you get that ball down on the tee to sell it, and then flip it up over your shoulder. Get it down on the tee. Oh, he didn't do it, and it still worked.
Isaac Erding.
Awesome.
Number 20, Isaac Erding, the holder.
Hey, one more time on that. The guy out in front is just beautiful special teams coaching. As he comes around the end, you're going to see him. You're going to see him boxing out like basketball. We worked on this for years. Watch the end over here release. I think it's number 5, Carter Daniels. So he's going to come out, and now he's just going to box him out. So how do you get called for a hold on that? You can't, because you don't have your hands on him. It's called hands-free blocking. A lot of the pro teams do it. Man, just phenomenal execution.
One other thing to look at, I have listed on my depth chart Caden Boyum as their usual holder. So they might have brought in Isaac Erding. We'll have to look and see when they kick again if Erding is going to come in and maybe he's taken over that spot. But I had Boyum as their regular holder. And maybe they brought in Erding because he can flip the ball behind his head without looking, and it was right on the money, and that gives Chatfield the lead.
Yes, I got to believe that's a bit of a specialty, isn't it?
Yes, right. I don't think I could do it. Just scoring dry, one play, 36 yards. It was after the punt return, and here is that play.
You clear the flat, you run the corner out of there with the post, you bring the wheel down the sideline. And again, it's a beautiful throw. It's a beautiful throw. It's tight. And to your point, coming into this game, I'm going, hey, Kale Schott's going to be the guy that creates the holes in the middle of the field, seals the edge. When you talk about having 2 weeks and adding some extra stuff, that's something they could have brought out of the box from 3-4 years ago with a different team.
Let's put it this way. Barnesville probably didn't prepare for Schott out of the backfield on a wheel route, right? As Barnesville starts it here with a short pickup. And Schott, of course, just had to be absolutely euphoric after some of the things we talked about with they had car accident and everything earlier in the year, and then the football injury, and he had to sit out because of that. And now here he is playing and catching a touchdown pass in the prep bowl to help give his team the lead.
Also a little different from when we had a brother in last year's team. Brother went off, moved on, and got some other brothers now on the team.
Bredman up the middle. John Roller.
Is a huge down. Barnesville doesn't want to have to throw. I don't think they're in a situation where it's 4 down. At least it wasn't the last drive. Major move right here. Their favorite pass play is obviously some type of boot. I'm sure they're going to want to try to get the quarterback going right if they do throw.
Zachary Bredman, the quarterback. Kroll, Robidoux, Kruger, Robidoux, and Wells, the big men up front. For Zachary Bredman on 3rd and 6. That's a lateral. He threw it backwards, and it's caught, but it's not going to get the first down.
Look at Kale Schott close.
Andrew Peterson made the catch, but shy of the first down.
Watch him close from his inside linebacker spot. It's one thing to get there, but to be able to come inside out, not allow the cutback, and finish like that. Really big-time football play.
He's pumped up after that touchdown reception.
And unsung hero right there, number 6. Forces the ball back inside to all the help coming to you.
So Barnesville Chatfield stymieing them a little bit here in the last few possessions, forcing another punt. Manaville, lone deep man, is backer. And that one off the side of his foot a little bit. Will come to the near side and out of bounds. May have done that purposely to keep it away from Sam Backer after the nifty punt return earlier.
Black Friday deals all month long during our huge Thanksgiving sale at Slumberland Furniture. Incredible prices. Plus, get 30% off on top of that store-wide.
Here you see Cole Johnson. Good to see him back in the game. He was down and was down for a little bit. Came out under his own power, and he's back in there as their top receiver. 19 receptions coming in. Chatfield by 1. Under 5 minutes already left in the first half. Shot is the lone back behind Backer. He'll run behind him looking for the sweep. Finds a hole. Squares up his shoulders. They say the football was loose. Barnesville saying they have it. The officials say that the ball was down.
And it looked like he was stung pretty good. Being a former running back, sometimes you get hit and you just kind of lose all sense of things. Let's see if he gets the helmet on the ball. Ooh, that is going to go the other way, I think.
Braden Bredman with the hit. He got the shoulder on the ball and looked like the ball was jarred loose. And the upstairs officials saying potential turnover. We're going to take a look at this. And of
the
course,
previous play is under review.
Yes, all reviews. If you're not familiar with the high school rules here, when we get to the U.S. Bank Stadium, to the Prep Bowl, that call comes from upstairs. They say, hey, guys, we're looking at this. We saw something up here in the booth on video. We're going to take a closer look at this. And based on what we can see, that ball is coming out before he hits the turf.
Yeah, and really nice to see it's not the helmet on the ball. We don't want to teach, put helmet on the ball. Let's keep eyes up. Let's work through the guy for the safety of the sport. It's going to be one that Sam's going to want back.
Just Braden Bredman, quality hit, like I mentioned, Backer squared up his shoulder, but so did the tackler.
Absolutely. And a minute ago, I'm watching that play and I'm going, Chatfield's got momentum. Look at that lane. Number 21 is running through it, right? And then in a matter of 5 seconds, this whole thing might flip. And with 4 minutes left, Barnesville's going the other way with the ball.
Well, Travis, you know this too. If you are hit and you come down with a hand, if you put your hand down, that's considered being down. Is that right?
I think it has to be an elbow down.
An elbow,
not a hand down.
Not just the hand.
And I don't want to speak out of turn here with all of the high school rules, but I'm pretty sure the hand, because you could still use your hand to keep you up and moving.
Right. So a lengthy
Where's
look
our
here.
version of the official, right? That's going to come in and tell us if we're right or wrong. Huh?
Exactly. Everybody else has them these days. We're going to have to. I'll get somebody. I know enough officials. You probably do too. We'll get somebody here. We'll offer him a burger.
Actually, I just saw one of my official friends this morning downstairs. He's working on
After
on the
further
replay
review, the play is being reversed. There was a fumble before the man was down. It'll be Barnesville's ball, 1st and 10 on the 34.
And that was the proper call, Travis.
Yeah, that was the last line of defense. He went down, he made the play, and I can't praise these DBs enough, because I'm going to tell you, it's not fun running up into a hole when you have running backs unblocked and you're tasked to tackle them.
I think in that pile, Ethan Larson came up with it. He had the interception earlier. Now fumble recovery after the hit by Braden Bredman.
Hey, fumble recoveries are product of hustle, not the fumble itself as much as the recovery.
We have an officials timeout. And we talked about all the yardage, all the offense that these teams have combined for, and here we are late in the first half, and it's 18-7. So it's been, what do they say? Defense wins championships.
Yeah. Interesting, your point on defense. We asked Coach Strand about his Barnesville defense. How did he get so much better?
Please set the game clock to 4 minutes, 43 seconds.
They're about 150 points better from last year on defense. And he brought out something I thought was great. He said, by Wednesday of every week, my defensive players have to draw out every play that they saw in a given game and hand them in to me. That's clinic stuff. If I go to a clinic and someone says, hey, let's try that next year.
Trojan center. Justin Kruger over the ball. Under center, Bredman. Crisscross action. Bredman will throw. They did throw in the second play of the game in the semis. And he has a man open. John Roller showing his ability to catch and run the ball inside the 25-yard line.
Now, they're not doing that because they're in a hurry. They're trying to break a first down tendency and saying, all we've done this game is run. Let's come out with a pass.
And Roller's slow to get up.
Timeout on the field for an injured player.
Roller's 5th reception on the season. He has a touchdown reception here for the Trojans this season. Both teams undefeated at 12-0. Two undefeated clubs.
What I really liked about that play from a quarterback perspective is when you don't throw a lot, you don't see a lot of pass plays develop. He doesn't get a lot of reps at that. But he waited, had patience, belief. Player comes open and he hits him late. Much easier to do if you're running that 25 times a week, right?
Both teams hitting a knee here where the injured player down, as you can see. Talk a little bit about the two coaches here while we have a break. Jeff Johnson in his 17th season for the Gophers. Of course, prior to that, they won 3 straight Class C titles, kind of like 3 in a row by Minnesota in the 80s, 3 in a row for Chatfield, 94, 95, 96. And then one of their other titles that they won, I want to say it was 2012. I think they played, didn't they play Minnesota? And it was the Gophers versus the Vikings. Minnesota was Class A. That might have been the one year they were with Lincoln High. It was Minnesota Lincoln High. And they played in the final, won by Caledonia in 2012. And then, of course, they won last year, defeating West Central Area 14-13. West Central Area scored. They went for 2 for the lead at the end of that game and got stopped by the Gopher defense. So John Roller off the field after the injury timeout. Zachary Bredman, 1st and 10 for the Trojans. And he will keep, makes a nice cut, gets positive yardage. He darts inside the 20-yard line. Connor Lokes is in there at fullback and in the running back position for the injured Roller.
We got 3:50. I'm sure Coach Strand wants to score, but at the same time he's saying, how can we score in the slowest possible manner as possible? And really what it's going to mean is I need to get another first down.
Brian Strand in his 18th year with Barnesville. And they go to the fullback. This one's up the middle. We mentioned the fullback with Connor Lokes filling in for Roller. Tried to spin his way for extra yardage and got maybe just 1 on that play.
Same thing, going back to the trap. It's really just a way, number one, we saw one pop really big earlier in the game, but just another way to get Chatfield thinking, condense them, get them tighter to the formation to set up one of their outside hits.
Ball just outside the 17 on 3rd and 5. Final 3 minutes of our first half in the Class AA championship game. Zachary Bredman keeps, bootleg, gets a block, 15, race to the sideline. He's inside the 10 to the 9, and that is a first down.
You watch the safety on this, number 10 from Chatfield, Eli Hopp, who's had a phenomenal game. He's basically just froze here, like the rest of us, no idea where the ball is. Look at the fake. Look at the fake. The back tuck, and you can see Eli out there going, well, I think. More importantly, comes up and makes the play, which again, these are not easy tackles.
It's just guesswork at that point. And again, Eli Hopp makes the tackle, saves a touchdown, but it's 1st and goal here for Barnesville, trying to reclaim the lead inside the Chatfield 10. Redmond is going to pass this time after 2 fakes into the end zone, touchdown. Tate Iniger. Nice catch by the big tight end.
Classic bootleg, fake one way, spin out, backside tight end, dragging across.
His 3rd touchdown reception of the season, 6th overall reception, 265 pounds. He makes the catch, Looks like he maintained possession. His hands were between the ball and the turf. Nice.
Little things in the game we mentioned earlier. That is the second time in a row now on first down they ended up coming out with pass play, which is not what they've done throughout the season.
2-point conversion. Hand off Bredman. Bredman to Bredman. And Braden is in for 2.
Tight end on the backside spends his whole day blocking. Man, I get that one shot. And it was slipping away. Great job of bringing it back to the body, especially when you roll over. We always say to wide receivers, DBs, if you make a catch, you need to come up and show the ball. That is your job as a receiver, just like that. If you don't, you're going to leave it in someone else's hands and make a decision for you.
You know, how Barnesville started with the power T. It's really an interesting story. They had success. They were here and just happened to see Elk River play, and they go, maybe that's something we'd like to look into. And then Coach Brian Strand had some health issues, so he had some downtime. And he met with Steve Hamilton. I guess you call him the father of the Minnesota Power T. The grandfather. I don't think he'll like me saying grandfather. I'll just say stick with father there. But, they met. They drove all the way down to Elk River, and they've been able to find a way to be successful with it, certainly.
And it's getting harder and harder to find those people that want to talk about the T, right? Now, the other neat thing is, you think about what's the positive, as he said. The positive that came out of me, having some health issues is I had 3 months where I could just kind of study this and pick Coach Hamilton's brain.
That was the 2018 season, was the first year that they ran the power T on the kick return here for Chatfield across the 30 to about the 32-yard line. Hands on the ball there, Luke Carrier. And Chatfield will have about 2.5 left to go. And that year, they made it to the state tournament, 2018. That was one of their runner-up seasons. It was, I think it was the 17th season that they saw the Elk River Elks after they had lost in the quarterfinals. Barnesville had lost in the quarterfinals that year in 2017. And then 2018, brand new offense. Meanwhile, Chatfield with their offense, led by that man, of course, number 21, Sam Backer. He gives the shot, and he's to the 34.
Plenty of time, as we talked about in the first game. You got timeouts, you got first downs that stop the clock. No need to panic. Don't need to do anything out of sorts. Run your game. Allow some of your big-time players, whether it be Johnson or Backer.
Backer, he's going to throw. That's Carrier. Man is open. It's caught. Cole Johnson, little trickeration, little razzle-dazzle with the reverse pass. And Johnson hauls it in.
One thing you ask every season is who throws left-handed on this team, right? Because it totally takes people by surprise when you see a play moving to the left and the ball comes out if it's not a quarterback.
First downs are now 7-6 in favor of Chatfield. And they get it to the 45 here in the first down play. And it looks like we'll get a timeout.
And I don't know if we'll see this one on replay, but watch the pursuit of Barnesville. By the time this play is over, every one of their 11 guys is in that frame. It is just really impressive. And fumbles sometimes don't happen with the first guy that hits.
Chatfield.
In fact, a lot of defenses are taught, hold them up with the first guy. Everyone else coming in gets the shot to knock the ball out.
141.
That pass to Cole Johnson, 16 yards to give them the first down. And now it'll be second down and 5. With Chatfield trying to come up with something late here and maybe reclaim the lead in a back and forth seesaw game.
And as a coach, to flip that whole comment about hustle to the ball, if I'm up here now watching that last play and I'm saying Barnesville had 11 to the ball, why did we only, unless you're running a route somewhere, why did we only have 6 to the ball?
There is head coach Jeff Johnson from Chatfield. And head coach Brian Strand. On the other side, there's Chatfield head coach Jeff Johnson in his 17th season, 112 career wins, 13-1. Has done a nice job with this Chatfield team where they were powers in the 90s, and now they're back. Backer to throw deep, up for grabs for Johnson. Intercepted. Riddle down the sideline with room. 50. Tight ropes to the 40. Forced out of bounds, and here comes some flags on the return. Owen Riddle's third interception of the season. Let's take a look.
Easier to throw this with a one-man matchup with the corner, but when you're throwing it into a too-high safety look, it becomes a tougher task. Now, if that ball comes out early and the safety can't get over there, find the pocket, that's one thing. Held the ball a little bit too long, ball stays in the air, and hey, it's a phenomenal football player to be able to high point that after running 25 yards to get to that point.
Officials are discussing the yellow hankies here. Here we go. We'll get the announcement.
Illegal blocking back, number 6 of the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty. Will be tacked on to the end of the run. Barnesville, 1st and 10.
So was it against Barnesville or Chatfield?
The block in the back, I believe,
would be on the return team, right?
Correct.
Okay.
He didn't point in that direction, did he?
I thought he pointed in the wrong direction.
Okay. So yeah, he is. Looks like he is calling it.
Because they said tacked on to the end of the play. And when you have a tack on, that adds to the already earlier play by the team that had possession.
And I think Coach Johnson is looking for an explanation here.
There is some confusion.
Probably not going to have a block in the back, but you can certainly have. Defense can hold.
Yeah.
Defense can have unsportsmanlike on a crackback. So
they
just don't know where they're at.
Are they asking? Because that's the replay guy. Says it right on his vest. Let's take a look at the replay here. Right at the 50 in white.
There is what I think looks somewhat like a crack. He lands on his side.
Yeah, there were lots of collisions, a lot of crisscross collisions. I don't know if we got one flag or two flags. If two officials saw two different things. So this is a key situation here. Coach on the phone checking the replay. He must be streaming our game on 45 TV.
Got our guy Marshall Behrens down there in the yellow. St. Charles, Minnesota graduate, about 5 miles.
Handling the replay
where we
communication.
It was great talking last week to the high school league.
Again, we had a block in the back on the defense, number 6. 15-yard penalty tacked on to the end of the run. 1st and 10.
Really all around, just so proud of having the ability to have replay and the type of angles we do. I don't think all the states have them at this level, and that's what we all want in the end, right? If there's a touchdown that isn't, everyone wants to know it wasn't. If there's a penalty or a turnover that isn't, that's the benefit of all this.
Well, that penalty could be a big break here for Barnesville. Minute 27 left. That's plenty of time. They have all 3 timeouts, and they have it just shy of the 25. The center there is Justin Kruger, 265 pounds, 3-man backfield. Oh, and a mix-up, and it bounces to the turf, and it's picked up by Braden Bredman, and then he's going to have to eat it as Chatfield responds.
Looks like we got a timeout from Barnesville. So this is where you go into usually saying, hey, you got plenty of time. You know, take your time. But when your MO is you are going to run the ball, you don't have plenty of time.
Right.
You got plenty of time if you have timeouts and you throw the ball and get first downs.
So the timeout called here by Barnesville. They'll have 2 remaining.
119.
And you know, when you think about all the crisscross, all the play fakes and everything with this Barnesville, the power T offense, you would think that would happen more often. It's really a testament to the kids that buy into this system. And you have to buy into it, right? Because you got to do rep after rep after rep after rep to get that timing down. And you see the teams that run it really well, the teams that get here, the Elk Rivers, the Rosemonts, the Lakeville Souths. And they do it well, and they minimize mistakes like that. Chatfield last year against West Central area. Close game.
There's our guy, Parker Delaney again. You know, if they get behind, do we see him? Defense looks the same, just swarming. We talked about number 55, Kate Nolte, was a big part of that defense. To your point on buy-in, how's this for buy-in? Coach Strand said they have 45 guys out for football, juniors and seniors. When I've talked to Coach Fritti about this down in Caledonia, he goes, to do what we had to do all those years, we needed a minimum of 15 per class. They're operating at somewhere in there of, almost 25 a class.
Winning and being successful is fun. Second down. Braidman to throw, and he's got his tight end again. It's caught. Iniger, touchdown. How about Tate Iniger, the tight end, his second touchdown of the game? What a play.
Outbreaking route, play action. Beautiful call, gorgeous throw. And the only thing we're going to say about that play in the defense perspective is we want to use our left arm on that. Open up as long as we can. If we're going to use our right arm, you have to make sure that you can intercept it at that point. It's a little thing, but it's a huge thing that DBs talk about all the time.
Zachary Bredman put that right on the money because he had Eli Hopp, the defensive back, right there, and he had to float it over him and then put in a position where his tight end, Iniger, could make the catch, and he did. And then when you're a big guy at 265, you just love running it into the end zone, don't you, Travis?
Do we have how many catches he has on the year?
Yes, I do. As we have a timeout.
Sorry to put you on the spot. I'm curious.
He had 5 coming in with 2 touchdowns, so now he has 7 receptions and 4 touchdowns. He's doubled his touchdown output here in this Barnesville offense.
Man, there's a lot of college coaches going right now. I could see him motioning down the line, kicking out, and if he can do that much catching the ball, that's a bonus.
Well, the key, I think, in this offense, from watching it in the past, a lot of times that tight end is like another tackle.
Got it.
Correct?
Yep.
But if you got a guy that can be a tackle but also catch the ball like that and run a nice little route, that's a little extra weapon where you can kind of surprise the defense, and that's what Barnesville did there.
Fun to watch. And I always tell these guys, thank you for handing the ball to the official. See, so many times the poor officials have their arms in the air and the ball gets chucked at them, right? And they got to think, do I do my job and keep my arms in the air, or am I going to let this ball bounce off my face?
Well, that's Bud Grant. He didn't allow spiking.
Love it.
You had to hand the ball to the official.
Love it. Hand the ball to the officials. Celebrate with your teammates that allowed you to get that touchdown.
Stand up straight and in the line during the anthem and hand the ball to the official.
Trying to get a 15-point lead here is what they're thinking.
2-point conversion attempt. Braden Bredman is in. He gets across the goal line, breaks the plane, and it's a 2-point conversion here for the Trojans. And this game here has really turned and twisted after Chatfield had that 8-7 lead. Late touchdown here for Barnesville in the first half.
Yep, that goes back again. It's just down block, kick. We saw it from Minnesota. And now we're seeing it from Barnesville. And I got to tell you right now, the body language right now is going to have to change for Chatfield. They're not used to being down. Last time they were down like this was last year in the semifinals against Barnesville.
There's Bud Grant's name, the Ring of Honor here at U.S. Bank Stadium. They have more room. Those little areas in front of the walkway and that upper level here at U.S. Bank Stadium, they've got room for more names. I have a feeling over the years we'll have more and more names representing the professional team here in Minnesota. And now Barnesville to kick off. Chatfield still has 2 timeouts in a minute 13.
Yeah, this half is not over, but you're balancing 2 things. Things are not going our way right now. Do we take one more shot at this, which I think they will? You could see some type of reverse on special teams where it's a little safer, where we don't have to worry about exchanges with people really close to us. Or you just scrub it and keep it away from everyone.
Manival, who's now wearing 76. If you're going, who's that kicking? That is still Isaac Manival. But if they put him on the line, they have to go from 89. 89 when he's a tight end. They have to move it over to 76.
Good catch.
When he plays defensive lineman. And And Manable with that kick, and Chatfield will get the ball just outside their 35 to the 36-yard line with 1:08 to work.
First attempt for Gophers, ball number 6.
Backer back deep in that shotgun, ready to throw. Slings it to the far side. He's got a man open. It's caught. Jackson Shield hauls that one in. A big Chatfield pickup into Barnesville territory.
Not the same exact play, but very similar play. Actually, it looks like the same exact play that Cale Schott had completed earlier in the game.
25-yard gain to the Barnesville 39-yard line on the pass from Backer to Shield. Here's Backer again. He's at his 50. He's waiting. Now he'll run. To the 40. Breaks a tackle. 35. And he's hit from behind and actually driven forward to about the 30-yard line on the tackle by Peyton Amundsen for Barnesville. 37.6 seconds left.
Did they give him the first? They did.
That's their second timeout.
He got a first down. That'll stop the clock, and then they will then also take a timeout with one remaining here for the Gophers.
Yeah. So previous passes we talked about here is just the wheel. I don't know if it was a different formation, a different guy doing it. Something you'd always think of as a coach is, if I run the wheel to the right the first time, let's go back and run the wheel to the left the second time against a linebacker and a DB that maybe hasn't seen it.
They did not get the first down.
And that's the reason they called the timeout. If they get the first down, they say, no big deal. We can go up and spike it if we need to. Probably don't want to give up the down or run a play quick.
So it'll be 2nd and 1 following the timeout. Chatfield threatening. Back and forth, up and down. It seems like when there's urgency, these teams get things done. And some urgency here for Chatfield after Barnesville marched down the field. Had the big break with that penalty after the interception return by Owen Riddle.
Some we haven't seen a lot of yet. Barnesville's going to have a deep coverage going on. We haven't seen much of the screen game. We've seen a little bit of the draw game or Sam making this happen. But it's a phenomenal time when they're guarding the sidelines to dump it inside to one of your tight ends or wings and let them go if you don't have a draw game.
Backer with double wing.
There's your draw game.
It's a quarterback draw inside the 30 or the 25. They get the first down. And that'll stop the clock with the ball at the 25.
Okay, they'll down it here.
And they do.
All right, so we're at 25 seconds. Things to keep in mind. Cole Johnson, he's a guy you can just chuck it up to, and he can win one-on-one. Okay? They've run wheel now twice to the right, so I'm going to go back and say it again. I think the next time you see wheel, it's probably going over to the left to a bunch of guys that haven't saw the play yet.
Ball will be on the left hash mark, and of course they're using the high school hash marks. The one in the middle are the NFL hash marks. 25-yard line, 25 seconds remaining in the first half.
Got it.
And timeout. Did Barnesville call this one?
Please reset the game clock for 32 seconds. The clock will start on the snap.
The clock should not start on the snap.
And not after a timeout.
Or on the snap, correct. I missed it, yep. It will start on the snap, not when it's placed.
Right. Backer. Toss. Looking to throw. Carrier. Back to Backer. Oh, and he had it through his hands and arms and incomplete. There was good coverage and a lot of congestion in traffic, and that almost dropped in from the sky for Sam Backer. A little, again, razzle-dazzle.
Again, this is where you go back to and say, like the concept. But right now they're going, there's 26 seconds. We're just going to stay deep and keep everything in front of them. You're really going to see the seams open and the middle of the field open. And Chatfield can still get to those areas with first downs and timeouts.
Brody Gray on the coverage. I think the Chatfield fans responding because Gray had Backer's arm just as the ball was getting there. Good no call. Backer rolling, throwing, It's complete, hauling it in. Drew O'Connor, and Barnesville saying it was on the ground. I don't think so. It'll be a completed pass. Shy of the first down, though.
Chatfield.
13 seconds remaining, and Chatfield will call their final timeout.
That's the area of the field. We're talking the middle of the field. I know that he bought some time there, but that is what they're going to give you in these situations. It's not going to be deep and wide. Unfortunately, they already spiked once, so now it becomes fourth down on this play, so you can't spike again. You have to use a timeout.
Drew O'Connor has been used in the passing game this year for Chatfield, 8 receptions and 5 touchdowns. So he has a high touchdown to overall reception ratio. He's been used in around the goal line and gets a nice catch there.
Hey, they have a good kicker. I'm sitting here right now saying I'm probably taking the 3 points with Erickson, the guy we brought up earlier, one-time starting quarterback for this team. When he gets hurt, Sam comes in, they become a +1 team. You kick the field goal, you go down 11.
So 4th down and 2, 17 seconds. If they get the first down, they can extend, and they will get that, maybe more. 10, 5, backer in, touchdown Chatfield. Oh, what a conversion, what a big play.
Coach Johnson, what a football call.
25-yard run. Just give it to your superstar back and let him make things happen.
Jim, did they have a timeout left?
Yes.
Okay, they did have one. Awesome. Hey, how many times have we said it's not easy for these DBs to make these tackles in the open field? Last time they got them on a fumble, it's really, really tough to do.
And then backer just makes guys miss. You know, I'm thinking, okay, he's going to get the first down here. They'll tackle him, then they'll stop the clock for the first down, and they can take their timeout. I guess they don't have any timeouts according to our screen, but even the first down that stops the clock, then you can probably have enough time to then down it. They'll go for 2.
2-point play gets him to 7.
Backer, pitch play, right side. Can Carrier make it? He did not. Luke Carrier trying to he's saying that he reached over the goal line.
You know we're going to get a review, right?
But yeah, big stop by Barnesville with Gannon Bullgreen amongst the defenders there. Let's take a look at the touchdown here first.
Get off tackle. Hey, they're playing deep and wide, just like we talked about. So where is it going to crease? It's going to have to crease in the alley or between the tackles. Probably just a little softer than Barnesville was thinking.
And now the conversion. Backer, little flip. Carrier wrapped up by Ethan Larson, a strong defensive player. And let's look here. It's where his knee goes down. It's just a matter if his knee was down before he reached that ball over the goal line. Hard to tell. Well, we've had some close plays here in this one. It is 23-14, 9-point game at the failed conversion. That drive for Chatfield, just what the doctor ordered. 7 plays, 64 yards, less than a minute, 57 seconds. And then Backer, the 17-yard run. Backer's first touchdown here today. Sam coming in with 33 rushing touchdowns here this season. That's number 34. The kick, and Barnesville lets it go back and sneaks past behind and inside the 10-yard line. And the return by John Roller, that's 20. That's Braden Bredman. Gets to about the 7-yard line.
I think it's a great time to recognize these officials and how fast this stuff happens on the field. And we've all seen it, right? It's really easy to sit in our houses and go, wow, he was wrong, he was right. That was a phenomenal football call by that official there. He was short.
Indeed. This will be the final play here of the first half. And Barnesville will go to halftime with a 9-point lead in the Class AA championship. Chatfield looking for what would be their 6th title, and Barnesville, of course, their 1st. And right now, so far, so good for Barnesville. Chatfield will go to the halftime break and into the locker room to see what they can do to whittle away at this 9-point deficit. And this game is far from over. No doubt about that. All right, coming up during halftime, we will hear from Chris Long and Gabe Henderson. We'll talk about this one and look ahead to the other 2 games coming up here later this afternoon and this evening at U.S. Bank Stadium and Prep Bowl 40.
Joining me is Dr. David Wells, a foot and ankle specialist with Tria Orthopedics. When we're talking football, what are some of the foot and ankle injuries you see coming in?
Yeah, so I'd say the most common injuries would be an ankle sprain, a bruise or contusion, tendon injuries such as the Achilles tendon, and unfortunately a fracture.
What symptoms might tell an athlete they have an ankle sprain, and when should they seek treatment?
Yeah, so typically an ankle sprain is when an athlete rolls their ankle, and they'll cause some bruising and swelling. And if that athlete has a hard time with walking, they're getting some swelling and bruising, it's a good time to seek treatment to make sure there's not something more serious going on.
Anything a football player can do to reduce the likelihood of an ankle injury?
Yeah, I think a couple things come to mind would be cross-training in the off-season with other sports and making sure you're getting conditioning prior to the season starting.
Dr. David Wells, thanks for your time, and thanks to Tria Orthopedics, a great partner for the tourneys on 45.
The tournaments on 45 TV are brought to you by Tria Orthopedics. It's why you're treated and how you're treated by Tria.
Prep Bowl 40 rolls on. Totino Grace, they've brought home the big trophy before a couple times, I believe. Barnesville and Chatfield trying to see who's going to bring home the big trophy as Class AA champions here as our Prep Bowl coverage continues on 45 TV. Amazing. Prep Bowl 40 here all weekend, today and tomorrow. Chris Long back here with you at U.S. Bank Stadium on 45 TV, joined by Gabe Henderson from Vikings.com and the Vikings Entertainment Network. Predictable the way the plays happen, but kind of an unpredictable half. The turnovers really changing the narrative as the half went on.
Absolutely. Barnesville has 16 points off turnover, and that's pretty much the basis of today's game. I was looking earlier at the 4.5-minute mark. It was 114 yards to 114 yards, and the time of possession was separated by 1 second. So those turnovers have been literally the entire definition of today's game.
And I think those numbers, dead even, were right after the first turnover happened. So everything swung, but Chatfield able to recoup some of that momentum because it looked like Barnesville, if they could have milked the clock enough to keep Chatfield out of the end zone, we might be having a very different conversation.
Oh, absolutely. They had the momentum, and then Chatfield was like, okay, well, we don't get the ball to come out in the second half, so let's just score a touchdown, figure this thing out, and go to the second half, go into the first half with some momentum.
Barnesville came out trying to establish the run. They've shown that they can do both if they need to today, but Barnesville starting things out on the ground, set up a nice long drive for their opening touchdown.
Yeah, this is just the offensive line just making plays, blocking downfield, opening up lanes, which ultimately led to a touchdown.
Zach Bredman and John Roller with a couple of big runs to set up Dawson Gregg's touchdown. Made it 7-0 early on. Back comes Chatfield. Sam Backer making it happen here, setting up the TD with a nice pass.
Yeah, and it wasn't with his feet. You have to respect Sam on the ground, but when he throws plays like this, and your arm tackle is always going to lead to 6 points.
Callan shot. Nice job to break the tackle for the 36-yard touchdown. Chatfield in the lead. Backer going the other way. Just a fantastic spin in there from Zach Bredman.
I believe this was the first passing play of the game for Barnesville, and it turned into a touchdown. Just a fantastic throw, low and away across the middle.
That came off of a forced fumble. Chatfield got the ball back, and now it's an interception by the Burnsville D. Owen Riddle did a great job to go up and get that.
And he ran about 25 yards to go up and get that interception, and you just can't throw the ball into double coverage, and I'm sure Sam Backer would love to have this one throw back.
You saw Tate Iniger score off the first turnover. Here he is again. This is a heck of a throw and a heck of a catch. Iniger in from distance, 28 yards.
So what? Iniger has 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. What a day for the big guy at tight end.
Braden Bredman's been a weapon. They've gone him twice on the 2-pointers. Both of them worked. Gets in here to make it 23-8. They like the 2-pointers.
Yeah, 2-pointers set the tone. That means when the other team gets on offense, they have to go for 2 points also. And if they don't get it, you got the advantage.
So we mentioned it. This could be a very different narrative, but Chatfield gets the ball back with 1:13 left and 1 touchdown. A terrific play here to march down the field, and then Sam Backer, kind of a quarterback draw, 4th and 2 at the 17, make or break play, and he makes it.
Everyone blitzed inside. Sam Backer's a smart running back. He said, okay, I'm going to run outside. And if somebody's one-on-one, he's breaking that tackle. He's hard to go down, and that's one thing I've been noticing. A lot of guys that try to tackle Sam Backer, they get up off the ground slow.
Yeah, a chance to make it a 1-possession game on the 2-point try. Comes up about, half an inch short here?
Yeah, I think Sam Backer wish he'd have had this one back, too. He should have just ran it in, but great officiating there, seeing it. Great stop by Barnesville.
Another good play by the Barnesville D. They force a fumble. They get an interception, then stop there to make it 23-14 at halftime. The stats are brought to you by Cub. For online orders, go to Cub.com. My Cub, my way. You mentioned it. As even as it could be if not for those turnovers.
Yeah, absolutely. Time of possession's right there. This is a great game outside of those turnovers, and the fact that Chatfield scored right before the half, I know this sounds crazy to say, but I do think they have the momentum coming out of the break.
Down 3-0 in the turnover battle, but only down 9 in the game. I think they would take that. That's a win for Chatfield. Second half coming up. We're going to find out who's going to be the AA champs after this on 45 TV.
The tournaments on 45 TV are brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs.
Yeah, sometimes games go right down to the last play, and sometimes championship games go down to the last play. This was a classic. 2019, Rocori hangs on to beat SMB, led by one of the best athletes I've ever covered at any level, Jalen Suggs. He's now plying his trade in the National Basketball Association. I would think that you could say that SMB were favored, but Rocori didn't care much about that. They hold on the last play to claim that championship in 2019. One of the many, many memories we have created in 40 years of Prep Bowl. It is Prep Bowl 40. We've already crowned one champion. Minnesota beat Springfield for the Class A title. Barnesville Chatfield right now. Last year, I think in the pregame I said it was a championship game. It was the semifinal when these two teams played. Final score of that one was Chatfield 22, Barnesville 18. Almost an exact reverse, 23-14 here at halftime. Simley and Hutchinson, those are two wrestling superpowers at the state level, playing for the 4A title, and the number 1 Maple Grove, number 2 Rosemount playing for the 6A title in the nightcap. And if that weren't enough for you, we'll have 3 more games for you right back here tomorrow. Gabe Henderson bringing you back in. What's going through these guys' heads right now? I know you said it. Chatfield, I think, has the momentum, even though they're trailing on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and they were down last year in the state semifinal game that you talked about against Barnesville, and they ended up coming back to win. So do they have that same juice? Do they have that same momentum? They understand that, especially these seniors, this is their last half of high school football ever. So how are they going to respond? We'll see.
Sam Backer, one of the best offensive players we've ever seen in this state. We'll see if he's got some tricks up his sleeve, or will that Barnesville D continue to hold? Jim Erickson, Travis Walsh, take us home.
All right. Thank you, Chris. I'm Jim Erickson along with Travis Walsh. Travis, second half coming up here. Barnesville getting things done there towards the end. They build that lead. Chatfield scores. They go for 2. It is still a 2-score game, but still a lot of football to be played between these two teams.
Chris and Gabe did a great job of recapping. It really comes down to this. From Chatfield's perspective, we gave up 3 turnovers. We scored 14 points against a team that is only giving up 4 points per game. You have to be able to take something away from it. Now, you can't have a repeat performance, but you're still in this game against one of the 2 best teams in the state after turning the ball over 3 times. Settle down, come a little bit more hardy in the way that they're moving the ball, not have to be such a big play, small play type team, and I feel like they have a shot to be right back in this game. Barnesville side of it, I don't know if they can have another half passing the ball that efficiently, but if they can, I think it's important to still mix it in. We've certainly seen the benefits and the results of it.
Yeah, Zach Bredman doing a nice job. He had just 41 attempts all season long entering this game here today, as Barnesville will get the ball to start out, and the return Ends up to the 20, to the 22-yard line with Braden Bredman grabbing that ball and then push back. It'll be first down here for the Trojans.
I got to tell you, just in 10 to 15 years, it is so impressive to watch these kids run down the field and the speed that they have. Just, we continue to see this evolution of athlete before our eyes, even down into the high school level. It is really neat. And just a great salute to the way these kids work, the strength coaches and the coaches in the building that spend so much time with these guys.
Zachary Bredman at half, 3 for 3 passing, 48 yards, 2 touchdowns, both to his tight end Iniger. He's under center here. Maybe some early movement on the offensive line. Hand off to Braden Bredman. And he will dive his way for some positive yardage here. Those are brothers, as you might expect, the Bredmans. And on the tackle, Luke Carrier.
Barnesville says, hey, we need 4 yards of play. So every time they run the ball and Chatfield can keep it to 2, it's a win.
Gain of 2, second down and 8. And remember earlier, John Roller left with an injury at that fullback spot, the middle running back, number 21. He re-entered the game, and there he is right now, anchoring that running back spot. Here's the bootleg by Zachary Bredman. Spins his way to the 25. And he will be shy of the first down. Just a couple of more yards there. Third down.
Looks like we might have got away with just a little bit of a hold right there on the edge. And we always taught our defensive linemen, we said, hey, if you feel like you are, flail your hands in the air.
Try to get the call.
Got it.
3rd and 6 after a gain of 2. Crisscross play action. Bredman to throw, and he's looking for Iniger again. And this one off his fingertips, incomplete.
Same exact play they ran to score the touchdown, when he dove, and hey, you see it a second time. So now you got Eli going, wait a minute, I've seen this action before. Does a great job of closing down. The other difference, when you're only throwing it from the 5-yard line, it doesn't have to be a 15-yard throw or an 18-yard throw. It only has to be a 5 or 6-yard throw. And that's the difference.
Wyatt Suter, the other tight end, was out there in a pattern as well. And Isaac Manival set back to punt. And they'll be punting it to Sam Backer. So important stop here. 3 and out by the Chatfield defense.
They got Sam 40 yards away from the punt. The ball lands at 31 yards. And those are the things. Pick it up and run. Oh, there's a big rule here we got to talk about. I don't know if you saw that on replay, but the ball hit a Barnesville athlete. At that point, Chatfield, it's called first touching.
Yes.
Chatfield can pick the ball up and without any consequence, run it, lateral it, fumble it, whatever. It's going to go back to that spot. It's for all the young returners out there. When you see that, you run, that kick. You go and get that ball, you scoop it up, and you start running. And you can lateral, you can throw it anywhere you want.
And that's why the beanbag came out, so they knew where that spot was.
It's called advancing without consequence.
Here's Backer, first play for Chatfield in the second half, and he gets to the corner, and he's out of bounds. Close to a first down.
They were able to get him to the edge here. And we talked about this in the first game. It's not easy to hold blocks that long. You'll see number 6 there. If that defender lands on his back after the block, you're probably going to get some type of hold or blocking call. He ends up landing on his stomach, and that's why you don't end up getting the call.
Gain of 8, 2nd and 2. Chatfield down by 9. Backer, handoff, shot, breaks one tackle, leaning forward, and he does get some yardage on the extra effort.
Wow.
He needed 2. We'll take a look. He got close.
What a call here. We got 4th and 1 coming up. It looks like.
Nope. They just signaled first down, didn't he?
They're not moving.
No, they're not. Might have been signaling something else on our screen. Now it is. There it came.
Got it.
First down, Chatfield. Just did get it by inches at their 48-yard line.
That saved a year off Coach Johnson's life, having to make that decision.
Right. Backer keeps, spins, still up, gains Barnesville territory. And across and inside the 50 to the 47. He is just built. I mean, he's strong. He's tough to bring down. He's going to be a great running back at the Division II level.
Just look at the lean on contact. He just runs low. Look at that. He's low to the ground.
Carrying plus territory for the Barnesville 47.
Remember watching him in the semifinals in that game for Chatfield against Eden Valley Watkins, and just how tough he was to bring down. He's back in that deep shotgun. Shot is the back to his left. He goes in motion. That's number 4, and it's the draw right up the middle. And he's down to the 41-yard line. Nice pickup on that draw. Mashad going in motion. That is designed to drag that linebacker out of there, isn't it?
Absolutely. They ran the corner earlier.
90s are back on 45 TV. Watch a full hour of Seinfeld at 6, followed by a full hour of Friends at 7. The 90s block on 45 TV.
To your point, last time we saw corner right, this time we see corner left. Both plays have been 5 to 6 yard gains for him off the jet.
Here they go to the right side. Following shot is Backer. Makes a cut. He's inside the 40 to the 36. This is what Backer does. He just wears you down, doesn't he?
He really does. And watch the edge. This ends up being a load block, a double team, whatever you want to call it. But you're going to have a tight end, a tackle tight end combination on the edge right here, 66. You bring down your wing to close it off. Hey, and what's the worst case scenario? By getting that double team, you are leaving the corner unblocked, but it's a corner versus Sam Backer instead of a one-on-one block against a really good D lineman. Let's get him to the edge and then allow him to play.
Only 3 runners have more than 7,000 yards in Minnesota State football history. Jason Williamson, Sam Backer, and the record holder Tyler Evans. Backer throws deep, heaves it, it's up, and it's intercepted. That's Riddle again, his second of the game, almost in the exact same spot. The return not as long this time. He gets it up across the 25 to the 27. They're not going to bother with that, though. They don't care. They just got the ball back, and they turn Chatfield the other way. It'll be Barnesville ball when we come back. Barnesville defense comes up with a pick. They lead.
Hey everyone, it's Dr. Chuck Els, and it's time for the Fan Cam. Hey, whoa, how did that get there? There we go. Fan Cam, brought to you by Xfinity Flex.
And it is time for our Fan Cam, brought to you by Xfinity Flex. A lot of colorful fans wearing their school colors. Our next game after this one, Hutchinson and Sinley, their fans starting to come into the building as well here tonight. Technically still afternoon. When you're in your second game of the day, Travis, it seems like it's nighttime already, but it's not actually, not even 3 o'clock yet. 2 more games to go.
I'm with you.
A full feast of football here at U.S. Bank Stadium.
Let's see if you and I can finish strong, right?
Yes. Barnesville on the possession, first play. Up the middle, not much there for Braden Bredman. That's a couple of turnovers here for Chatfield on the interceptions. Maybe Chatfield needs to find a way to maybe turn the ball over defensively and get a turnover from Barnesville here.
Yeah, it's 4-0, like we said. It really serves as a quasi-punt. But the problem is you're across the 50, you're moving the ball, and it doesn't feel like a punt. Again, just another dynamic play by Riddle. It's the second time we saw that.
Roller the fullback, quarterback. Bredman, Zachary, hands it off to Ethan Larson, who has a fumble recovery and a pick here today for Barnesville, and he leans forward and gets yardage up to about the 30-yard line. Not much, though. It'll be 3rd and long.
I hesitate to say it, but I'm starting to track these runs, and they're getting to be, like I said, not 5 and 6 anymore, but 1 and 2. And it's Chatfield now. They've seen it over and over again. So you're going to have some type of change up from Barnesville. I'm not saying they're going to be dramatic with it, but you're starting to see this shift of Chatfield feeling more comfortable on defense. Let's see how they try to get out of it. I would not be surprised at all if they run based on what happened last time.
Bredman, roller, fullback. There he goes, the 40, 50, 40. Schindler to bring him down at about the 28-yard line. That's that fullback pop. Before you know it, he's past you.
Jim did not even see where that came from. It obviously was trapped. I didn't get a good look at it. Here we go. Yeah, that's base fullback track. That is the staple of what they do.
Yeah, that's the shell game. Who has it? And by the time you realize it, a lot of times, especially on a play like that where it's right up the middle, they're gone. Schindler did a nice job making the tackle from the 27, first down and 10. Dawson Gregg gets a touch here, and he'll lean forward inside the 25-yard line here for Barnesville.
By no means am I saying, hey, they were conceding that drive. We're running the trap. If you tackle it, hey, we'll off the field. We're going to go off the field. We're going to punt it away and put our defense on the field. I do believe Coach Strand feels good enough about his defense right now that was the thought.
Well, my thought on seeing this power T over the 10 years or wherever, that fullback up the middle, that's their big play. That's the one I think in this, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think maybe in this offense, that's the one that goes for the biggest play most often.
If I can run a direct line without having to go anywhere else, outside, inside, stick and bounce, that's what I want to do.
Less time for the defense to react. Here's the keeper by the quarterback, Bredman, and he takes it back to the middle inside the 20-yard line.
And I spoke entirely too soon because right when I said Chatfield's starting to feel comfortable with this thing, it wasn't a special play that got him out of it. It was the fullback trap. And that, again, is the beauty of the T. It's the deception. But there is certainly an art to calling this offense. There's no doubt about it.
Timeout with a Chatfield injury. I wanted to mention more about Brian Strand. We'll get to that here in his 18th year. His team is driving. Back after this on 45 TV.
This will be a television timeout.
Here's the
There you see a picture of Brian Strand's dad. Brian Strand, coach of Barnesville, comes from good coaching stock. Dick Strand led Southland Adams to the C championship in 1983 in Class C, and Brian followed his late father into coaching, and Brian now in his 18th season. In fact, Brian's mother, Jo Ellen, also won a volleyball championship at Southland back in '84. And she also coached volleyball and softball there, and she also coached volleyball and softball at Winona State. You may know a little something about Winona State. Former Warrior, huh?
My alma mater.
The other interesting tidbit that Dick Strand's cousin is Kurt Strand, who was the coach at McLeod West when Tyler Evans set the rushing record and won a title in 2001. So there's that connection. Brian Strand, that's a cousin. And Brian Strand's second cousin, Nathan Strand, Kurt's son, is an assistant on Brian Strand's staff.
So essentially trying to stop Sam Backer from catching Tyler Evans' record.
Yeah, exactly. McLeod West found a way to infiltrate the Barnesville coaching staff. But Nathan Strand was the quarterback, the champion for McLeod West in 2001, along with Tyler Evans. They were teammates. And so I thought that was just a great connection between these two teams when you talk about the history and the families and the coaching trees and everything here as we get back to live action. 2nd down and 9 for Barnesville. Trying to get some separation between them and Chatfield. Chatfield trying for the stop at 2nd and 9. It'll be the big man, Ethan Larson, and he'll rumble his way inside the 10. Not enough for a first down. Will bring up 3rd and short.
And this obviously becomes an extremely pivotal time for the Chatfield defense. The 3rd and 1, I'm sitting there right now saying, depending on what happens in this play, of course, I don't know if I almost would have rather them get the first down on that play, because now as an offensive coordinator going, I feel good about our run game. I feel like I got a play to waste right now. I don't think they will, but you have that in the back of your mind when you're an offensive play caller at 3rd and 1.
Peterson, Bredman, and Roller in the backfield, and it's Roller, and he didn't get it. He gets wrestled to the field in a strong defensive play. Number 68 right there.
And when we talk about wasting a play, and the play that just got tackled is the one that creased for 35 yards a couple minutes ago, right? So it's easy to second guess. But it's hard to have a waste play on 4th down. You get it on your 2nd and 1s and your 3rd and 1s.
All right, here we go. 4th and 2. Big play of the game here at this point, late in the third quarter. Dawson Gregan there at a halfback. It's the quarterback, calls his own number, and he dives forward. First down, shot makes a tackle, but not before a first down, just shy of the 5.
You know, you talk about the T, and it just brings me to talking to Elk River and them saying, you know, the last kind of evolution to this whole T is when your quarterback becomes a big-time running threat. And up there, the leading rusher on the team is the quarterback.
Osterman.
Another football finalist, correct? Mr. Football finalist?
You are correct. Cade. 2:05 left. Big first down for Barnesville. Inside the 10. 1st and goal. And they're going to try it again. The keeper by Bredman, this time stacked up by the entire right side of that Chatfield defense. Isaac Stevens, who helped make the tackle on that last stop prior to the first down play, makes the tackle there.
And I don't know what's happening on that sideline, but everywhere I've been, at least in the last 15 years, has been, at this point, you have to tell your offensive coordinator, do you have 4 plays to score, or do you have 2 plays and then we're kicking a field goal? That stuff has to happen now. It can't happen on 3rd and 4th down. So then he feels good about throwing a pass here if he needs to.
Chatfield trying to keep this a 9-point game, or if anything, hold them to a field goal chance on 2nd and goal. Bredman throws, end zone, Iniger again. He's caught it. What a game for Tate Iniger. Holy cow. His 3rd touchdown of the game. He goes up and he gets it. That's fantastic. And it's a touchdown for Barnesville. He has been a big part of their game here today.
And I can tell you right now, Coach Strand had communicated, we are kicking the field goal if we don't get it on 3rd. And that's where you get the play there to run the pass play instead of having to just wait to do it on 3rd down. That is, if that's what is phenomenal coaching and communication by a head coach and a coordinator.
As a bigger fella my entire life, I enjoy seeing that. The big guy, the big tight end. On a lot of teams, he'd probably be playing tackle. And here, because of the wing tees at tight end, and he's cashing in 3 touchdowns here today for Iniger. They'll go for 2. And chance here, that's Bowgreen, number 6, running it instead of the quarterback. Gannon Bowgreen, but he comes up short. So the 2-point conversion, no good. That keeps it at a 15-point game. Bowgreen was in at quarterback that time instead of Zachary Bredman. I don't know if something happened to Bredman or not. But there's Tate Iniger. You mentioned his numbers coming in for Tate. He had 5 receptions, 2 touchdowns. He's more than doubled his touchdown output now with 5 touchdown receptions.
And that was a huge, huge 2-point stop. You give up the 2-point, you go down 17, which is an automatic 3-score game. You've kept it within 2 scores.
11-play drive, 73 yards, 6 minutes and 23 seconds. Prior to that, all the touchdown drives for Barnesville is like their average is 49 seconds on their touchdown drives. 9-yard pass play, Bredman to Iniger.
What a game by Iniger. How fun it is to see that for that young man. Obviously, a lot of credit to the protection and the quarterback and everything else, but
22 Barnesville points off of the turnovers here for Chatfield. 3 receptions, 45 yards, 3 touchdowns. Backer back. Oh, and he collides with the other man that was back there for Chatfield, Shield, and now Backer tries it near sideline, 40, 45. How many times do you see that where it's a broken play on special teams like that and all of a sudden turns into a big return, and it does for Sam Backer?
I'll tell you how many times I've seen it. I was a special teams coordinator for 13 years. And you'd always tell your coverage guys, just because the ball's on the ground doesn't mean that we need to slow up and think the play's over. And that's what happens. They start converging, they think it's over, and now it sticks and bounces.
That was at St. Thomas.
Absolutely.
Correct?
Yep. It's just natural to think if the ball's on the ground, someone else is going to be able to make that play. I'm 30 yards away. We just can't have the whole team saying it.
Well, Chatfield still has a full quarter to play, but now they've got 15 points, to make up. That's still 2 possessions when you include the 2-point conversion. Backer with the keeper around the right side. Braden Bredman comes over to make the tackle in our final 50 seconds of the third quarter.
And for the first time, it looks like Sam is getting tired. And I mean, he is a well-conditioned athlete. But when you see hands on hips, it's generally a sign. Probably a good time. I just think of the Mo Ibrahim game against Iowa when you feed it to him, you got to give him a break. Just give him a little bit of a break and he'll come back. Would not be surprised at all to see this go to someone else besides Sam.
2nd down and 6. Sam will toss, and he does go to someone else. Pass a little bit low to Drew O'Connor. Incomplete.
Again, got to have an idea right now. Is this 4-down territory or is it not? It will depend. 3rd down call changes greatly if he knows he's got another play call here. It helps when you're the offensive coordinator and the head coach, right?
Yes. There's no discussion or debating going back and forth.
Don't have to worry about that.
But then all the pressure rests on your shoulders.
2-score lead. If they don't get the yardage or they get pushed back, I think it's a time to punt. 3-score lead, you're probably looking at having to go for it at this point.
Backer, man in motion. Backer looking to run, trying to spin here on 3rd and 6. Gets across the 50 into Barnesville territory. But that's going to be shy of the 1st down by 4. And it'll bring up a 4th down. And the final play of the third quarter. So Chatfield will face that 4th down when we return in this Class A championship game. Barnesville utilizing their tight end. And they have the lead going to the 4th.
The tournaments on 45 TV are brought to you by PolyMet Mining, working to produce the copper, nickel, and other essential metals that make this broadcast possible.
2010 Prep Bowl, Wayzata wins it against Rosemont, who we will see tonight against Maple Grove in the 6A championship. Mitch Underhill had a fantastic game. Got him to the outside, and he was gone that year for Wayzata. Coaching inside stories there as well.
I think we might be getting the punt here. See if he'll step back.
No. Nope. Backer will keep it. He's in trouble. Now he tries the near side. He's got enough speed. He's got room. He's to the 40, 25-30 on the cutback. Cuts back again inside the 20 to the 15. Sam Backer putting the team on his shoulders there. Makes a huge cutback and decision. Avoids the block in the backfield. And he picks up a huge play and a 1st down.
And I go back to say, this is a phenomenal defensive call by the defensive coordinator. You just have one guy that makes a special play and cut back. A really nice block down the sideline. But they knew what was coming on defense.
34-yard gain for a 1st down. Backer to throw, and it's caught. By the way, Backer was reacting in the backfield almost like it was a dead play. He was just kind of standing there. I don't know if somebody heard a whistle or something and thought the play was over, but it wasn't. And Eli Hopp makes the catch for Chatfield. Here's that previous play. Thought he was dead to rights there, but not Sam Backer.
Man, love how he switches. You see that? He switches from the inside arm to the outside arm. Now he has my outside arm, my inside arm to get himself free. All the little things. Ooh, is that a timeout?
Yeah, Chatfield forced to call a timeout here.
And you see that a lot with big plays because you have to run down the field.
All right, Chatfield driving down in the 4th quarter. Well, let's take a look at that last drive and also the full day of work here for Sam Backer.
Sometimes Sam is just such a fluid runner. Doesn't always seem maybe he's as fast as he is. He's as powerful as he is. I think the one place he's got really good throughout his career is look at the patience here. He allows things to set up. He sticks and bounces. He uses his blocks. And sometimes the hardest thing to teach a running back is to be patient.
Yeah, numbers for Backer. 159 yards rushing, 22 attempts, 7.2 average, 1 touchdown. Takes the snap here, squares the shoulders, and barrels his way inside the 10 to about the 6 yards shy of the 1st down.
I'm not sure. I think it's been a minimum of a drive or more, but Cole Johnson either re-injured his arm, I'm guessing, or has not been out there. And he's often kind of their red zone target from a wide receiver perspective. Not that they don't have their targets, but
he's a go up and get a guy.
No doubt about it. And when you have less room to do that, sometimes that's where the ball needs to be placed.
And he did leave because of an injury. Then he came back. But like you said before, he hasn't been in there here recently for the Chatfield Gophers. Luke Carrier and Drew O'Connell, the ends. And Cole Johnson's the left halfback. Backer. Snap. Student body right. Dives. Did he make it? He did. Touchdown for Chatfield.
So decision time. Do you go for 1, down 8? Do you go for 2, down 7? A lot of people will say go for 2, so then you absolutely know what you need the rest of the game. Other people are going to say, you know what, let's take the 1 and know that we can just need 1 drive at the end of the game to try to tie this thing up.
Backers long for the game, 34 yards. That one there, a touchdown. His second of the game.
They cannot afford to use another timeout. What's the clock like? Nope, they reset it.
And it will be a kick for the point after. Here's another look. Square the shoulders. They're looking at is what they're doing. That elbow is down right there. And of course, an elbow equals a knee.
Look very similar to the play and how contact happened on the fumble. Do not envy. I mean, just a really great job all day. And I've said it more than once of these second level guys coming up and making tackles.
All scoring plays and potential scoring plays, turnovers and potential turnovers can be reviewed during the game. And then in the final couple of minutes of the half and the game, they can review more things. Completions in the middle of the field and other things like that.
The previous play is being reversed. The runner was down 1 ball short of the goal line. It'll be second down. The clock will start on the ready for play.
I'm starting to think about a gun team now, and you're saying, and Chatfield's been on the other end of this, backed up in this tournament, and they put Sam under center when they only need, when they need to get out of it.
Right.
Now you're saying you're at the 6. Do you really want to snap it 6 yards backwards if Sam's capable of just getting it and sneaking it?
So they take the points off the board with the review, and from our angles, it looked like the proper call.
And here he goes. He's going to go out. Take it, pause, allow your defense, your offensive line to work.
Yeah. Touchdown.
I got to tell you, I had a brother that was an offensive coordinator in the CFL. And up there, the defensive line is a full yard off the ball. So they have a whole package of different types of sneaks. Because every time it's 1 yard, they're going ahead and they're sneaking it.
So it just delayed the inevitable, the review and the reversal there. Backer, instead of scoring from further out, gets a little plunge from about 1 yard inside of 1. And they will go for the 1 point after the kick. The PAT as they had set up before the reversal. With Jacob Erickson ready to kick. And Isaac Erding is the holder.
And hopefully that 4 seconds to take another play to score doesn't hurt them at the end of the game, right?
Snap, hold. There was some pressure, and they forced it wide right. The kick is no good. Point after, no good. 9-point game. Here on 45 TV. Hey, our Prime Performance is brought to you by LiUNA. Build your future with LiUNA. Visit LiUNAMinnesota.org. And that Prime Performance, the 265-pound tight end, Tate Iniger. What a game. Came in with 2 touchdown receptions. He now has 5 on the season.
Hey, let's talk extra points and extra point block.
It's going up, showing good hands. Boy, he's got hands to be a good, I don't know if he wrestles or he's a basketball player, but he would be outstanding with those kind of hands in around the basket with that size.
I'd have him out for both.
Yes. Here's a bounding kick taken by Ethan Larson, and he has a nice return. Shrugging off tacklers, still going. Good return. He's bouncing off the guys, pinballing his way into Chatfield territory. What a return by Larson, and he's had a nice game today.
Ethan has a lot of reps in this game. He looks a little tired, but man, years ago, the Patriots had a big return with an up back against the Packers down the sideline. All I could think about was that right now. What a moment for him.
Nice return by Larson, plus he has an interception, plus he has a fumble recovery.
Get that ball on the outside. I love it. And he stays on his feet.
They've been listening to you, Travis. So Barnesville outstanding starting field position. That's the last thing that Chatfield wanted to have happen, where it kind of twists and turns the field of play. Hand off Andrew Peterson, and he'll roll his way inside the 30.
Talking extra point and extra point block, how important it is. On offense, if you run 60 plays and score 30 points, each play is worth a half a point, right? But every time you send your PAT field goal unit on, it's either 1 full point or 3 points. And the same thing is said for the team trying to block it. That is a 1-point play that they just won on 1 play, and it's hard to do that in football. Get a field goal, wow, we've just got a 3-point play.
Yeah, and instead of a 1-score game, 2-score game, a 9-point advantage here for Barnesville. A little breathing room with that stop on the conversion. Bredman hands it off to Roller. Tough yardage up the middle, but that's what Barnesville wants to do here. Let that clock continuing to run. Under 9 remaining.
I think it gets to time now where they're saying we are going to run the ball. The time is almost as important, if not more important, than the first down. And let's run the extra play and take our shot on 4th down if we don't get it on 3rd down.
One of those offensive linemen, Johnny Robidoux, 225-pound senior left guard. He was on that 2018 team. He played as an 8th grader on the offensive line on a state tournament.
A 13-year-old playing against Caledonia.
Right.
5-year career.
He's up there blocking here for this Barnesville team, and they'll whistle this one dead. They're looking for him. He's on that offensive line, number 54. There he is right there as we get the call from our white hat.
False start. Offense. Number 8. 5-yard penalty. Will repeat 3rd down.
Gosh, I was hoping that wasn't Johnny, number 54. I was talking about him, and then it's not him getting flagged, but one of his teammates here with a 5-yard penalty. Roller has 103 yards rushing now for Barnesville. He's over the century mark. And again, Gannon Bolgreen is now in there at quarterback, so I don't know if something happened to Zachary Bredman. We noted that last possession for Barnesville. Play clock is at 13, and Bolgreen is trying to take down as much of that clock as possible with 8 seconds left on the game clock. Will go into his cadence, and he will keep it. It's Bolgreen trying to get to the outside. In pursuit, is shot, and he tracks him down.
Every yard is big right now. They had a chance to lock him up in the backfield. Just a phenomenal effort of getting another 2 to 3 yards. And now instead of being 4th and 8, 4th and 9, because of the effort, they're looking at about 4th and 6.
It was a 1-yard gain for Gannon Bolgreen, now in there at the quarterback spot here for the Barnesville Trojans.
And now it's easy on 4th down. It really doesn't matter if you run or you throw, right? Because the clock's stopping afterwards if you don't get it. It really doesn't matter.
Barnesville trailed in this game 8-7 after Chatfield scored and converted on 2, and that is only the 2nd time all year that Barnesville has trailed. The only other time they trailed was against Crookston, when Crookston on a turnover had great field position and kicked a field goal, and they were down 3-0. And then later on in that game they scored. That was in the section final, I think it was. Yeah, section final. And then Barnesville went and scored 56 unanswered after being down 3-0. That was the only time they were down here before this one here is we get a timeout on the field.
So you're saying it wasn't a major turning point in their season?
No, it was not. They got things going in that section championship in Section 8 AA. They were the both of these teams are number 1 seeds in their section. Talk about the Barnesville defense, a team that has given up only 48 points all season long.
And a team with pretty much the same personnel that gave up 150 to 60 last year. So when you ask Coach Strand, well, what was the difference? Hey, we're a year older. We're a year stronger. We've been through a tough loss or 2 or 3 tough losses, and we've worked to get better. He goes, we haven't changed our scheme. This is just personnel getting better, having more belief, having more comfort level. And Riddle, obviously, with 2 huge picks in this game.
Yeah. Total of 3 interceptions and 1 fumble, so 4 turnovers for Chatfield. Meanwhile, Barnesville's done a nice job. They haven't turned the ball over here today, and a lot of times that's a formula and a success for victory.
I think if you ask Barnesville, hey, Chatfield's going to turn it over 4 times, and they're going to be within 9 points in the 4th, even they would be surprised by that, knowing how good their defense has been.
So here's 4th and 6. Bull Green, the quarterback. This is a different formation here. This is more wing tee.
And he did say about 5% of our playbook, we had a jump.
Yeah, there was defensive movement and then offensive movement, but it's going to be against the offense.
87 offense. 5-yard penalty. It's still 4th down.
He did say about 95% of the time they want to be balanced. 5% of the time they're going to end up wanting to be in some type of offset wing or wing tee.
I believe that's the first time we've seen that, though, today.
Now, they have a good field goal kicker. And, you know, the thought becomes, if you kick the field goal, it may be out of range. I know that he's getting some college looks. Now you go up more than a touchdown and a field goal. It would take 2 touchdowns to beat them.
4th and 12. Going for it from the 31. Bull Green throwing, flushed, scrambling. 30, 35, 20. And he's inside the 20, and that's where he needed to get the first down. Backup quarterback Gannon Bull Green. What a scramble for a first down for Barnesville, making plays.
And that is your play of the game. That was all him. The pass is supposed to be out now.
Nick Robidoux, he knew it was a first down. That's Nick Robidoux, number 55, jumping up and down, knowing that that's a key play in the building blocks of maybe the first ever championship for Barnesville High School. Bull Green keeps. To have 2 different quarterbacks that can run this power T at the varsity level, that's saying something. And Bull Green able to run it here.
To your point, the celebration, just nothing better than seeing people in pure joy for someone else's accomplishment. It's what football and sport is all about when we're doing it right.
This is must-stop situation for Chatfield, almost here with under 6 minutes left to go. They're thinking of stripping the ball, trying to create a play here.
Yeah, now you're saying keep the back up, allow your buddy to come in and get the ball out.
Nose tackle is Thad Evans, number 62 there for Chatfield. 5 down lineman. Bull Green out the play fake. He keeps it, and he will be dumped as he leans forward. Drew O'Connor tackling for Chatfield.
Now the other thing is you start telling your backs, hey, getting that extra yard on a reach is not a big deal at this point. Let's protect the ball. Let's take what we can get. And now if we can put it on the foot of the field goal kicker, great if we can't score. Instead of being a 48-yarder, a couple plays ago, we've got it down to something that's manageable.
Makes it a 3rd and 7. Roller, Bredman, and Peterson are the 3 backs in the tee. Bull Green sends a man in motion, and it's a crisscross, and Ittiger's going to throw it to the end zone, and it's caught! Ittiger can do it all!
Is that tight end to tight end?
Wyatt Suter makes the catch. Might be the first ever tight end to tight end reception.
Hey, is this the best tight end performance you've ever seen in a prep bowl?
For me, yes.
I don't think I've seen one like it.
And it was a touchdown. Ittiger to Suter. What a catch. Drew Schindler on the coverage. I don't know if you could have better coverage on that play.
They're obviously looking at this one. Knee might be.
I think the knee is down. That's what I thought when I first saw it. So
yeah, I'm just wondering, did he control it? It looks like it moves a little bit.
Does he complete it all the way down to the turf?
Yeah,
Does he use the turf?
Short, but did he make the catch?
Yeah, his hand is the edge of the ball, but there's his hand underneath the ball.
The previous play is under review.
So we're going to go back upstairs to the review booth. There's Tate Iniger.
Would the Patriots have something to say about this one?
Right.
Looks a lot like the same play. What a catch, if it's a catch. What an effort overall.
We zoom in there. The whole detail there is, did he keep his hand between the ball and the turf? Did the turf help him control the ball?
It sure looks like his hand is underneath it.
There, his knee is down right there.
It's going to be really easy to make judgment on what this final call is, but would you want to be making this call right now?
No. That's why I'm up here.
You got it.
And that's why we salute the officials, and certainly more and more officials are needed. There's a shortage of officials. And if you have any inkling and have wanted to be an official, be a part of sports, it's good exercise as well. Get a hold of your local officiating and referee association. Or, of course, the Minnesota State High School League as well has been leading that effort.
One thing we always did at the college level is we bring officials in before camp started. And it was a great time to learn about the new rules of the game. It was a great time just to talk to officials without the stripes on. And for our players to communicate with them and ask them questions about this rule. And I also worked for a head coach and said, no one ever talks to the officials except for me. And that took care of a lot of the problems, right? I would love to see that instituted as a rule.
Coach Caruso.
Coach Caruso.
And, boy, they made a nice transition to Division I, winning their Pioneer League football championship.
For 2 years, it's been a really nice push. He was actually at the game here today, and his wife's from Springfield.
They're taking their time here. They want to make sure to get it right. Of course, 2 more games later, Dave Lee and Daryl Thompson will take their spots up here. Travis and I will leave, and have Dave Lee and Daryl Thompson. Here comes the call.
After further review, the player was tackled 1 football length short of the goal line. It's going to be second down and goal from the 1 foot line.
So it was a catch, but it was short. So not a touchdown pass for Iniger to Suter, but it is second and goal.
It's actually first down.
No, it is first down. Okay, so yes. First and goal. Because it was a 3rd and 7. And the ball was on the 13, and they're down to about the 1.
From a Barnesville perspective, as effectively as you run the ball, not scoring on first down here is not the end of the world when you start thinking about this clock. And Chatfield is going to have to start using the timeout soon.
Second time, I think, in this game that we've had, or at least second time today that we've had points taken off the board because of, in fact, second time in this game, 3rd in the first 2 games, that a review has reversed and taken points off the board.
They're going gun.
Yes.
Interesting move for a team that doesn't do gun. Especially in this situation.
John Roller is the man in the gun. Iniger in motion.
Here we go.
Oh, and Iniger goes under center, and then he plows it in, and he scores. Touchdown. It's been the Tate Iniger show here for the Barnesville Trojans.
That's great coaching. You have plays like that you say, hey, we might be able to use them once a year if we're lucky. There's a perfect time for it. And they pulled it out.
Goes in motion, 265 pounds moving forward, takes the snap. He throws it, he sneaks it, he catches it, he runs it, he blocks, of course. It's very important in this offense to block.
Just a little coach perspective here. It's really easy to celebrate that play when it's done. If that ball gets fumbled from a guy that hasn't taken a snap from center all year, those are the things that go through your head as a coach when you make that call. And I don't think that's what a lot of people understand. Well, what is the blowback on something like that? Coach Strand has won a lot of games. So
I think the conclusion is Coach Strand has a lot of confidence in number 80.
You're darn right.
So they'll go for 2 now, 35-20 Barnesville. There's the dive play as they go to Andrew Peterson. And he didn't make it, shy of the goal line. So the 2-point conversion is short, but still Barnesville expands their lead now to 15. Still a 2-point game when you consider the availability of the 2-point conversion, but it's 35-20.
2-possession game.
2-possession, yes.
Yep. And that's the second time they kept it from going to a 17-point game. So life is left, but you better start rolling right about now.
You may see that number 65 on the helmets of the Barnesville Trojans here today. That is a little something that we can talk about a little bit later if we get a chance. Here's a replay on the touchdown. And of course, if Itaker's pass to Suter is not ruled to be short of the end zone, he doesn't have a chance to run that play. I also like how Itaker celebrates. He's just hand the ball to the official. You know, he's just been here, done that before. He's had a good game here today. It's been fun to watch him and what they've done with him and the things that Barnesville has done with this power T, these little wrinkles. And you talked about that as more and more teams use and develop and get in this offense, they're going to utilize their personnel and there might be more wrinkles. There's going to be a short kick. And Chatfield will pick it up near sideline. Shield try to go to the middle, and he stopped at the 30. With 4:08 left to go, Chatfield has a mountain to climb here down by 15.
Question I have is, can we write in a new Mr. Football finalist, huh?
Tate Itaker.
Wow.
There you see.
What a performance in a huge game.
There you see the number 65, and that represents Tyler Stone of West Central Area's backer here to pass. Zings it across the middle, and it's caught. And that story again with Tyler Stone, 65. He was killed in a car accident earlier this fall on September 11th. And Barnesville and West Central are district, sub-district, and section opponents, foes, and rivals, and they are honoring him on their helmet. And of course, he played for West Central against Chatfield in last year's finals as they remember Tyler Stone, number 65 from West Central areas. There's Sam Backer who runs his way to the far sideline. He's out of bounds. That'll stop the clock. 3:45 left.
2 positives with a little bit of time. The pass play gets you a first down. Clock stops. You get out of bounds. Clock stops.
That's what Chatfield is forced to do here. Clock management. They do have 2 timeouts. They had to take one earlier in this half. 2nd down and 6.
You know, my focus is on number 9. He's just sitting back there playing center field. He knows the ball is going to be thrown. He's already made 2 spectacular plays today.
Backer, big hole, cuts inside the 40, 35, and he steps out of bounds.
So as much as I would like to see Chatfield hit it down the hash, that's what they're giving to you. You got number 9 back there who is really tough to deal with, Owen Riddle.
So what does Backer have up his sleeve here for Chatfield? They need a quick score. Number 7, Drew Schindler, bringing the play in from the sideline. Shot is the back. Behind Backer. Play action. He's so calm. He throws. Far side, and it's up for grabs, and it is incomplete.
I think they gave him the pick, Joe.
Oh, the near side. I thought I saw the official. I'm watching the monitor here. Looks like it was ball green, right? Ball green. Thought I saw. Let's see. Well, it certainly looks good to me.
Man, when you win a 50-50 like that, you see a lot of games tilt one way or the other, and I think it just did right there. And that's the 3rd 50-50. I'm not going to call. Actually, it's about the maybe 2.5 50-50s that we've seen like this. Barnesville has won all 3. All right, the art of getting out of the end zone.
Right, it is a fine art, isn't it?
Certainly is, as we Viking fans know.
Ball green Ball between the 1 and the 2, and he'll just keep it off the left side, off of guard, and pick up some breathing room.
Goal always for offense is get my quarterback's feet out of the end zone, get to the 5-yard line so we can run a full punt operation, and then ultimately, man, we would love to be able to get to the 10-yard line, get that first down.
And the clock running, that's in the favor of the Barnesville Trojans. Chatfield might think about here if they get a stop and make a 3rd down, they might use a timeout. Try and preserve some clock. Because if they can get a stop here, they're going to get good field position, Travis, as you mentioned.
Yeah, and this is where I don't even know if bringing pressure. Let's see how it plays out if we get
they
that
do.
point. Oh, boy.
And shot comes diving through. He was trying to anticipate the snap count, and he came across early.
Is there a flag?
Offsides defense, number 4, 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down. Woo.
Shot flying through. Oh, boy. Obviously trying to blow up the play. Maybe getting in there before the snap is good. Maybe strip the ball and get a turnover. What Shot was trying to do, the timing was just off. 5-yard penalty gives Barnesville some room. Not across the 5 to just shy of the 8-yard line.
Really is a big 5 yards. To your point, how aggressive are they going to be reasonably? Against this team, 2nd and 9 feels a lot better than 2nd and 4.
We just saw a deep breath from head coach Brian Strand here as his team trying to hold on, and clock is running, and the play clock is at 10. That's why they're delaying here to take as much time off of that clock and the game clock before snapping the ball. Bull Green, simple play, keeps out to the 10. About a yard shy of the first down.
Absolutely the right choice here by Coach Johnson of using the timeout. It's got to end right now.
That's their 2nd timeout.
2nd timeout, 1 remaining here for Chatfield. Here's your play of the game. Plays of the game, more than just one, because it's been that kind of game. Plays of the game brought to you by Minnesota Rusco, Minnesota's hometown remodeler since 1955. And a heavy dose here of number 80, Tate Iniger. There he is throwing, catching, throwing, almost. He thought he had a touchdown there, and then he runs for one. Sneak up the middle. Big offensive lineman in the middle, then 265 moving forward. And Iniger.
Those 2 tight ends are going to be bonded for life.
Yes.
It's one thing to have 3, but then I get to dish it off and assist to my buddy. Man, that's fun to watch.
How many times do you think they work on that play, tight end to tight end in practice?
I'm sure they work on that a lot.
Right.
You know how many times Coach lets them run it in practice? Probably not a lot.
No. That's one, if you're playing in the sand lot, that's the one where you just kind of, you draw it up in the sand.
Yeah, that's when the guy comes, hey, Coach, we got this really good idea. I don't know. But if you're on coach for 4 years, you might finally get to run it. Probably usually doesn't happen in this type of game.
No. And it's worked out here for the Barnesville Trojans after the Chatfield timeout, needing a stop here on 3rd down and 1. They do have 1 timeout remaining. Rematch of last year's semifinal. Barnesville trying to avenge that loss. Oh, here comes Iniger again under center. Movement on the defensive line, and Chatfield may have jumped across. And Barnesville starting to celebrate now, knowing that first down is going to help them out a ton.
A wrinkle
offside.
Off the
defense,
wrinkle.
number 66, 5-yard penalty. It's still 2nd down.
You run sneak.
Actually resulted in the play as a first down.
Then you motion them, and then you hard count them.
Here you can see Coach Brian Strand chatting with Andrew Peterson. Somebody is chopping onions near the Barnesville sideline.
I can tell you as a coach, in these moments, you instantly think about everyone that has helped you get here. every player. It's not just about this team. It is every administrator. It is every family member. And that's why you're getting the reaction you are from Coach.
Yeah. It starts to hit you here late in the game, and a 15-point lead. Bullgreen keep up the middle, and he keeps those feet a-churning out across the 20 to the 24. A couple of yards shy of a first down, but it keeps the clock running here, and Chatfield only has one chance here with a timeout to stop it, and they're going to hold on to it.
And I got to tell you, it's you want to gain perspective. I'm certain he's going to be able to say now, you know what? Some of those tough losses, they really make it worth it.
Yeah, lost last year.
And you realize you have to go through those steps to get to where you want to go. Get one game better is a major accomplishment in football.
Bullgreen again, just straight up the middle, holding on to the ball with both arms. It's a first down for Barnesville. Their program undefeated from grades 9 through 12. All their high school programs undefeated this season. So they are building something there in Barnesville with the numbers and the success. Up 94. Not far from Fargo, about 28 miles from Fargo. I've stopped in at Barnesville on my way back from Grand Forks, up to their Dairy Queen. Right off of 94, and they are less than a minute away from celebrating after 3 runner-up finishes. They're going to come away as the state champs, and they're not going to have to snap the ball again. They'll take a knee. Coaches are hugging. Congratulations here to Barnesville. Still 28 seconds on the game clock, but it's starting to settle in here for the Trojans. And they will not have to run another play. What a game for number 80, Tate Iniger. Mr. Versatile. And Barnesville beat a very good Chatfield team, the defending champs. And you know, when you win a championship, you want to play the defending champs. You want to play a team that you lost to the year before. And that's exactly what happened to Barnesville. And they came up big for the first time ever. The Barnesville Trojans are football champions. Finishing off an undefeated season.
I know Coach Tobridge has been with him the whole stretch. I think he's the only coach on staff that's been with him the 18 years he's been a head coach. So I got to imagine it's a pretty awesome moment with everyone. It's going to be an awesome moment with his family. But man, when you've had that one guy, that one really good coach next to you, everyone needs that person.
Yeah. Coach Brian Strand, he's also the principal, so he has other duties other than teacher or coach. He's also the principal at Barnesville High School. As you see him right there. And of course on the other sideline, the other side of the field, the Chatfield Gophers, they don't know, their program doesn't know what it's like to lose in the Prep Bowl. This is their first ever state championship game loss, with 5 titles in their 6th Prep Bowl, but they know that they lost a very, very good Barnesville team, maybe almost a team that was a team of destiny here this season.
Yeah, and Coach Johnson will be the first to tell you a really good conversation with him about the difference between being the team that's chasing and being the team that is getting chased. And that just the whole idea of what happens in the next offseason when you're one team versus the other, and what you should hang on to and what you need to let go.
Barnesville led 7-0 after the first quarter. Let's go downstairs. We'll talk more when we come back upstairs, but time for the awards.
Most valuable teammate, Chatfield, Isaac Stevens. And the most valuable teammate for Barnesville is Tate Iniger. Tate, please come forward and receive your award. Congratulations. to both Isaac Stevens and Tate Iniger for most valuable teammate in Class 2A. At this time, the award ceremony will be conducted by representatives of the Minnesota State High School League Board of Directors. With us tonight are Bill Tower, John Vra, and also the Executive Director of the Minnesota State High School League, Eric Martins, and Tournament Director, Bob Madison. At this time, silver medals and the runner-up trophy will be awarded to Chatfield High School. Will the captains please come forward to receive your awards? 12-1 in the season. Great season. The Gophers. Congratulations to their coaches, fans, spectators, and the entire community. Outstanding season. Runner-up, Class 2A, 2022. Chatfield. And the 2022 Minnesota State High School League Class 2A Prep Bowl champion are the Barnesville Trojans. Will the captains please come forward, receive your gold medals and championship trophy.
The community of Barnesville celebrating here. I'm sure most of the town is here today at US Bank Stadium, celebrating with their team on their sideline. And the Trojans, again, they didn't commit a lot of mistakes. They were turnover free. And a lot of time in football, a lot of the times that equals success and victories. And there you have your champion, Travis.
Yeah, and with Tate Iniger,
he was the X factor.
He was the X factor, and correct me if I'm wrong, that wasn't the MVP of the game. That was most valuable teammate.
Yes.
That is what the rest of his team thinks about him. Just a special honor. And that just goes over into, you see it over. Good people, great academic people, always seem to be some of your best performers.
Much more after the break. Gabe and Chris, plus Daryl and Dave coming up with Hutchinson and Simley and Maple Grove and Rosemont to wrap it up here. Day one of the Prep Bowl. Congratulations, Barnesville Trojans.
The tournaments on 45 TV are brought to you by St. Cloud State University. Bold, innovative, focused.
Barnesville have been 0 for 3 in their Prep Bowl appearances, but just like teams have done for 39 years before this one, they're taking home a trophy. Prep Bowl 40 crowns the Barnesville Trojans state champions for the very first time. These guys were in 8th grade when they saw their mentors and the kids that were in high school at the time finish as runners-up here at the Prep Bowl. And I'm sure they've waited for the opportunity to make good. They avenged a semifinal loss from last year, taking down Chatfield for the title. Chris Long back with Gabe Henderson from Vikings.com and the Vikings Entertainment Network. Fun game. Just a fun game. I know Chatfield would love to have seen it go a little differently, but just an entertaining football game.
Very entertaining. You just look at, our conversation pregame. We're like, okay, this game's going to fly by. Both teams like to run the ball, and then both teams start to get into the thick of it, and it just went back and forth, and pretty much turnovers separated the teams from winning each game. Chatfield 5 turnovers today, and 22 points off turnovers for the other team. So Barnesville capitalized.
If I'm a football coach and it's the middle of July and I'm asking players to do their conditioning and run, I'm going to put in a DVD of this game.
Yeah.
This was a tough football game for both teams.
Yeah, tough football game, but you can tell Barnesville, I would say they won the war of attrition. They wore them down. You saw, late in the fourth quarter, Chatfield D-line, they're bending over, we're over here on the sideline, and guys are, puking and whatnot. So the conditioning, it was meant for this moment, and Barnesville, they toughed it out.
After this game, I have to wonder if we drive down to Barnesville here in the coming years, where they'll be putting the statue of Tate Iniger. What a game. I don't think he woke up this morning thinking he was going to account for 4 touchdowns in the prep bowl. He had 5 catches for 2 touchdowns all year. 3 catches for 3 touchdowns today, ran in another one, and gave almost through another one.
Yeah, and not even to mention his blocking today. He was just he was a man amongst boys, and just seeing him, celebrate these opportunities, throw this touchdown pass right here. It was just his day. When it's your day, it's your day. You don't really wake up knowing that, but when you get the ball in your hand, you score the first time you touch the ball, you know it's going to be a big day for you.
And not a surprise, he was named most valuable teammate in this game. We'll go ahead and award him the game ball as well, as he helps his team. And it was a team effort. I mean, John Roller runs for 103. Zach Bredman was 4 for 5 passing, but those 3 touchdowns also accounted for 53 yards running. So we're talking about Tate Iniger, who had a fantastic game that no one in Barnesville will ever forget, but this was a true team victory. The statistics are brought to you by Cub. For online orders, go to Cub.com. My Cub, my way. What do you think? I mean, it's hard to say anything but the turnovers. That is the headline of this game.
Yeah, pretty much everything else is not far apart. I mean, first downs, only 2 that separates them. Time of possession, it was, fairly closer than what people thought it would be, but those turnovers were just a huge game changer. And that's the thing about football, is how you capitalize off of other people's mistakes, and Barnesville did a good job of that.
All right, 2 down, 2 to go today, then 3 more tomorrow. Your champions of AA, the Barnesville Trojans. They finished 13-0 champions for the first time. We're going to take a quick break, then we'll be back with the 4A game, Simley and Hutchinson, coming up next.